All right. As usual, we're gonna. Yo, I haven't done one of those in so long, but I finally have lights. I did not have lights anymore, and the only lights that I had were awful. I could not do my makeup with them, which is why. Oh, I still have that on my head. Low, which is why I couldn't do my get ready with me the way I usually do, and that really was not cool because I do enjoy doing those, but I cannot do them in the dark. So what's happening though is I have an amazing webcam. So my webcam won't show when I'm not in the good lighting. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I uh so this is what I was working with in the past like 3 weeks. You can still technically see me, but it wasn't good. Then I got some lights. Oops, no, that's too orange. I got some lights, but they were not giving. You know what I mean? Like this is the lowest that these light goes, but you can still see me good because my webcam is good. But I cannot do my makeup with this. That's not enough lighting. Point is, I'm back and I got good lighting. Woo! We love that. That was my PSA or whatever the fuck you call it. Other than that, I already, well, as you can see, I already decided the look that I was gonna try to emulate today. It looks good, and so that's what's up. Is there anything else that I wanted to say? Let me just wait a minute. I can't. There you go. Woo. Yeah, and that's pretty much that. I feel like everything that needed to be said was said. I am gonna try to rework uh my chat because my chat hasn't been open in a minute. Also, no, we're not watching The Office. It's just what I was watching. Uh, Rotten Mango. So many things that I haven't seen. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff. My Restream chat is not working. Question mark? Nah, I'm gonna need it. What the fuck? That's pretty much that. Let me just finish setting things up. Oh boy. Settings. Passwords. What is it? 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 Restream. Restream. There you go. Bam, 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 bam. And if it has occurred, please try again later. So, okay, I think my Restream chat is actually broken. I haven't opened it in a minute, but I might, yeah, okay, my chat, great. That's actually so good. That's great. Close that, okay. What am I gonna use? 1 second. All right. All right. Um, is there anything else that I wanted to say? Well, the chat thing is actually annoying though. I might need to fix that at a later date because otherwise it's gonna take a minute. So I'm just gonna put it on a different tab on the side, and that's gonna help. Like that. Layout, 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 layout. Okay. Nice. That's gonna help. And okay. See, there's a solution for everything. We got this. All right. Did I forget anything? Since I haven't streamed in a moment, I gotta get into it. Oh, water. All right. Okay. I honestly have missed doing this. I haven't done it in a really long time. I've been streaming again with my bad lighting, but I received this lighting yesterday and I'm gonna use the shit out of it. Especially with the little controller that I have. It's so cool. Controller that I have and now I can see it. Girl. Well, I don't need it, but still, dang. I had it 2 seconds. I swear to God. Why do I always lose everything? Well, I don't need it. Annoying. Did it fell? I actually lost it. Oh, it's there. Gosh. I'm gonna put it somewhere easier to find. All right. Let's go. Okay, so I'm still not interested in the Epstein thing just because that shit is heavy, bro. I mean, it's always heavy, but this specifically is heavy. I'm not. I haven't seen these. So I'm gonna do this. What time is it? Hey, it's 2:30 p.m. It's pretty good. I usually do that so much later. All right. Oh, and I'm gonna do one last change to my title so that it's more reflective. But yeah, I've been yapping for 10 minutes. That sounds about right.
Bada bing, bada boom.
That shit is loud.
Nobody knows what happened to the Lisbon sisters. That's the whole point of this book turned movie that is centered around 5 sisters, the Lisbon sisters. And it's pretty clear from the very first page of the book that all 5 sisters are going to die by the end of the book. The movie has a slightly different opening, but the plot remains the same. The grim outcome is going to be consistent. Over the course of 2 summers, in this suburban-filled, blissful, cozy little town, and all the other words that these realtors like to use, the 5 Lisbon sisters, over the course of 2 summers, every single one of them dies. All 5 of them. And the entire story is told by the boys across the street. It's not even told by the Lisbon sisters. So we really only know what these 5 boys from across the street know. And these boys, they grew up snooping on the Lisbon sisters. They would get those telescopes pointed at the Lisbon sisters' windows at night. They would try to get invited over to the Lisbon household to steal the sisters' diaries, the pictures. The Lisbon sisters have this incredibly mysterious aura to the boys because they're all blonde, they're all conventionally very attractive, and they're all kept cooped up in this house. Their parents are super religious and strict. They never let them out on dates with boys. They never let them out to hang out. The 5 sisters and always feel like they know something that nobody else knows. They keep to themselves, and there's like this air of melancholy that just hangs over all the 5 sisters. They almost become mythical in the town. All 5 sisters, beautiful, they exude girlhood, and yet each one of them dies by self-exit. And the boys, they grow up 20 years later, and even as adults, as men, they can't understand why the girls from their childhood, the Lisbon sisters, would do such a thing. Why would they leave this beautiful life? Especially, why would they leave their beautiful bodies? I mean, it's not like they were bullied for being unconventionally attractive. Nobody gets the Lisbon sisters, mainly because nobody cares about the Lisbon sisters. They see that they are just passive objects that the world feels like they need to either conquer or consume, and that is it. That's how they feel about girlhood. There's a famous quote from the movie when one of the Lisbon sisters gets hospitalized after trying to, and the doctor tells her, "You're not even old enough to know how bad life gets." She's 13. And she just responds, "Obviously, doctor, you've never been a 13-year-old girl." Throughout the whole movie, you see the boys across the street, they steal the sisters' diaries. They skim the boring parts and they just focus on the sexuality journeys and the parts that make them excited. And yet at the end, they still don't understand. It befuddles them why these girls would die. When it is so clear to everybody watching or reading this novel, it's not that they don't know why, it's that the boys don't care about why. People say that this movie is what popularized the term male gaze. And since the Lisbon sisters' whole life story is being told by these brothers, you never know why at the end, because the brothers never know why.
Is this a true story or no?
No, this is a
Completely
novel
fictional. Okay.
turned movie. You never know why it happened because the boys never found out why. And 20 years later, it's almost like the Lisbon sisters are just this myth, this legend in their mind. It's not about who the girls were, what happened to them and why. It's all about who the girls could have been to somebody else. That's the whole point. They're more so grieving the loss of potential on what the girls could have provided for the neighborhood boys. Like, perhaps one of them could have been the hottest wife out of all your friends, or like a loving wife that bakes the softest chocolate cookies. It's grieving the potential of how the girls could have fit into boys' lives later on, rather than grieving the loss of life. The boys also complain about how they, and ultimately, they're the center of the stories. These girls are just the side plots. They complain about how they never found out the reason to why. And it's almost like a mystery for the boys to figure out. It's not about the girls' lives. There's this quote that says, "It didn't matter in the end how old they had been or that they were girls, but only that we had loved them and they hadn't heard us calling," which by the way, they never did. "Still do not hear us up in the treehouse with our thinning hair and soft bellies, calling them out of those rooms where they went to be alone for a long time, alone in death, and where we will never find the pieces to put them back together."
I see.
Which means for the boys, the Lisbon girls were just for saving. It's like this infuriating story. They didn't care until they died. And
It's
then
almost like the boys, they're at loss.
yeah, and it becomes like a fantasy, something to obsess over for these boys. Like, this was a big part of my childhood. It's a canon event because when a girl is dead, they say that she can be whatever you want in your mind. She is no longer around to tell you what happened. So you can make it whatever fantasy that you want, and that is what the boys ultimately end up doing. A lot of people feel frustrated by this book and this movie, but they understand. The whole point is that the audience is never supposed to know why the Lisbon sisters did what they did. You can keep guessing. Your guess is probably better than those idiot boys, but ultimately we're all still guessing because nobody wanted to ask the Lisbon sisters if they were okay or talk to them or figure out what was wrong before it's too late. Instead, after they die, everyone in the book comes up with their own reasoning for why they did it. Each story fits each person's life story a little bit better. For the boys, it's like this enigma, this fantasy of what could have been, of girlhood that's like lost so quickly, something to fixate over. And then the girls are just empty shells. They just project whatever they want onto the girls. Oh, the girl could have been this, the girl could have been that, but like it doesn't matter to them who the girl was. And that is the real life case right now that is unfolding in India of the Kumar sisters' death. 3 sisters, 16 years old, 14 years old, and 12 years old.
This one is
3
in
of
India?
them all fall to their deaths from the 9th floor balcony of their house. And their entire lives and their deaths are told by this one man in their lives. And everything about it just seems fishy. This is the case of the Kumar sisters.
Bro, I'm sorry, but every time it sucks because I really like Indian movies. Just like I really like Korean movies and TV shows, but when you hear about the society, like Korean society when it comes to women and Indian society when it comes to women, it's never fucking good. I never hear a good thing. And it sucks because obviously you don't want to put an entire ethnic group in like one bad basket. But like I just feel like it's very, very sad that, well, worldwide, women, girls, and children are still to this day overlooked and disregarded, disrespected, and mistreated. Yay.
The gang there at the end of the episode is families.
What the fuck is this?
Today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support NAMI National, also known as the National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI is the nation's largest mental health organization. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. A big disclaimer for today's case, there's very strong themes of self-exit, perhaps tech addiction, as well as mentions of potential interfamilial relations that are not of the norm. So please take care of yourself. Don't hesitate to take a break, and we will see you in the next one. With that being said, let's get into it. The Kumar sisters do everything together. They eat together, they sleep together, they shower together. If one of them has to use the restroom, all 3 of them will just in like a line, like little ducks, and go to the restroom together. Everything they do is together, which I feel is a bit more understandable when they were really young. But now that they're 12, 14, and 16 years old, the 3 sisters, a lot of people assumed that they would want to have more alone time. They would want to develop their own identities and have some privacy. Even their dad, Mr. Kumar, he questions it at one point. Like even using the toilet together, like why do you have to do everything together? Even the toilet? They just respond, Papa, we do everything together. Only together.
ऐसे मैंने नोट तो किया था, ठीक है? मैंने समझाया भी बेटा ये क्या है? पापा हम एक साथ ही जाते हैं. पापा वो एक वॉशरूम जा रही है, मैं हाथ धो रही हूँ और एक मुंह धो रही है. मैंने चलो ठीक है.
But it's not as if they are carbon copies of each other. It's not like 3 different individuals, but they all have the same personalities and they all behave the same way. They're each very different. Their grandma from their mom's side describes them as being, well, the oldest one of the sisters, the 16-year-old, very timid. You know, between mom and dad, if there was a fight between mom and dad, she would get scared, just completely scared.
कभी ऐसे कन बंद हो गई झगड़ा हो गया तो वो डर जाती थी एकदम.
She's the oldest, but gets the most easily scared, the most timid. And then the youngest one of the 3 sisters, the 12-year-old, also the same. Constantly timid, very nervous if there's any disagreements in the house. However, the 14-year-old, the middle sister, grandma says, very clever. Smart girl. Very, very clever girl.
वो बहुत नहीं डरती थी. प्राची वो डरती नहीं थी, वो हिम्मत वाली लड़की थी.
Her mind is very good. It's sharp. Compared to the older sister, she describes her as, you know, the 16-year-old is quite simple, very simple. And the youngest is also, quote, very lucky because she's also quite simple. So that's what the grandma is saying, and which, just to add context, being called simple, from what I can tell, being called simple is not really considered an insult in India like it might be more so in the United States. One Redditor explains, simple is actually a compliment. Usually it implies responsible, humble, and grounded. It doesn't mean too many desires. Mostly a compliment in India. No one uses it in such a negative sense. So I guess like it would kind of ring true in East Asia too. Like you're not trying to do crazy things all the time and not sticking out of the norm. Like that's a compliment in certain areas.
I can think of something in Chinese that's like...
I know in America we associate it with being dumb. That's not what the grandma's saying. She's not calling them dumb. Now grandma continues, but the middle sister, she was not scared. She was very courageous. But she has a tendency, according to her grandma, to, quote, get lost. Sometimes she would just sit and sometimes she would just not talk to us. It's like she's in her own little world. February 4th, 2026, at 2:15 a.m., all three Kumar sisters will be found dead.
Bruh.
There are a few justifiable reasons why one might be out perusing the neighborhood at 2 a.m. in the complete dark, one of which does not include standing still, body stiff, just staring up at the sky. An elderly neighbor is walking back home and he comes across one of the younger neighbors, maybe in his 20s, I mean younger compared to the elderly neighbor, and he sees this young man just staring up at the sky as if he's in a trance, as if a UFO carrying 3-headed horses is about to descend upon the neighborhood. So this old guy is following the neighbor's gaze up 80 feet up until he hits the 9th floor of the apartment building. And maybe the older neighbor's eyes aren't so good because it's very likely that he hears it before he sees it. It's like 3 explosive, almost gunshot noises. And now at the bottom of the building, on the ground, are the 3 Kumar sisters. The neighbors are all gathered around. Anyone who is still awake inside the apartment building, they're all now waking up their family members. They're all heading downstairs, including the Kumar parents. Initially, the story seems like, and this is according to the younger neighbor who had been staring, he says he stopped on his walk because it was very odd. He saw these moving figures out on a balcony late at night, and the way they were just moving about just seemed odd to him. It's in the dark, no light. It just didn't feel right. Quote,
और मेरी नज़र इसीलिए गई क्योंकि 2 बजे अगर लाइट किसी का ऑन हो तो थोड़ा सा और मुझे वो लगता है और बालकनी के ऊपर अगर कोई चढ़ के बैठा हुआ हो तो ऑटोमेटिक डाउट तो फील वैसे ही हो जाता है.
He states that he believes initially that one sister was falling from the balcony and the other 2 tried to save her and fell too. Whether it was intentional or not, he cannot be sure.
प्लानिंग एक की थी. मुझे तो यही दिखाई दे रहा था कि प्लानिंग एक की है और बाकी जो है उसे बचाने में गिरा.
So that instantly brings up a few theories. One of the 3 sisters fell accidentally and the other 2 fell accidentally in an attempt to save her, all accidental. This is completely ruled out by the fact that they left behind a detailed 8-page note beforehand.
Oh.
Wow. What kind of balcony? Is this a balcony that you have to climb up to get?
You would have to get a stool and then climb on top of the stool and then go over the railing and then...
How is that accidental? Even the first...
Perhaps you could argue maybe she was like sitting...
Is that even a
she
balcony
propped
at this
herself
point?
up on the balcony, which I don't see that to be feasible. But judging by the note, the whole accidental theory doesn't make sense. So the second theory comes about. One sister intentionally falls and the other 2 accidentally fall in an attempt to save her. But again, that's hard to believe because all 3 of them partook in this 8-page note. So then the third theory is, okay, one sister intentionally falls, the other 2 try to save her because maybe they thought the note was a joke, but when they realize it's too late, they're like, I can't live with this, so they also fall. But again, that doesn't make sense. Which leaves 4, the theory that all 3 sisters all went one by one and fell intentionally. But why? I mean, you get how, kind of, but why? The neighbor just saw, he doesn't know, he just responds, I don't know, I just saw all 3 of them jumping from the front. Before I could even understand what was happening or calling out, the whole incident was over. When the first one fell, they described the sound like an explosion. And then it happens 2 more times. When the sisters are rushed to the hospital, they are pronounced deceased upon arrival. They had fallen 80 feet from the air, so from the 9th floor balcony. And now you have a 16-year-old girl that is now deceased, a 14-year-old girl that is now deceased, and a 12-year-old girl. And this is where, like the novel and the movie, Virgin Self-Exit, which we just talked about in the intro, nobody knows why. The story of why changes depending on who you ask. If you ask her parents, they're going to say one thing. Authorities are going to say another thing. The press are saying something else. And then the netizens are saying something entirely different. And it's not a simple, clean-cut case either. The sisters' family background is very confusing. The three Kumar sisters, they're all sisters. They all live together with mom and dad, but they have different moms. So two sisters share the same mom, one sister has a mom, and they live with both the moms and the dad in the house. The oldest of the three sisters is from Mr. Kumar's first marriage. The two other sisters are from Mr. Kumar's second marriage. But the sisters are also half siblings, because they're only half related, but they're also cousins, because Mr. Kumar's first wife and second wife are biological sisters.
What?
He married two biological sisters, had kids with them, and they all live together. And he also now has a third wife that also lives in this house that he has kids with, a woman named Tina. And all of them live in this 9th floor apartment.
Oh, there are more kids in the house?
Another daughter and a son, and they're very young.
Whoa. Okay.
And all of them live in the same apartment building, the same one that the three girls just fell out of. And in the sisters' rooms, there's something scribbled on the walls. It reads, "I am very, very alone. My life is very, very alone. Make me a heart of broken." And next to an 8-page note that they wrote before they fell is a diary that has the words, "Read now," written on it. When news of the Kumar sisters' death starts circulating, everyone has the very obvious question of, okay, why?
Yeah.
One teenager self-exiting is already devastating and requires a pretty introspective look into the child's circumstances. But three sisters at the same time, there has to be something big, or at least something that everyone is hoping for there to be a reason, because they want it to be bigger than mental health. Because mental health is something that it seems like most parents in most countries don't want to address explicitly. So the natural conclusion comes to this: phone addiction. The three girls are so addicted to their phones, they would rather die than be apart from their phones.
Girl.
One People magazine title is, quote, "Three teen sisters jump to their deaths from 9th floor apartment after parents remove access to phones."
How did that come about?
So the dad said he did take away their phones recently.
I'm sorry. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say. That's actually crazy. I feel like if I put myself in the shoes of a reporter and I hear the three young girls, three sisters, jump to their death, and I hear that the dad took away their phone, I'm not gonna think, clearly it's because he took their phone. I feel like it's not. Am I tripping? I feel like if you're a good journalist, your first fucking reaction is not, clearly these three sisters jumped to their death together because they lost access to their phone. The reason why it triggers me is because I find that extremely misogynistic. I feel like there's a tone of sexism there, and I don't like it.
And they really liked their phones, and they were always on their phones. And so he thinks that's why that these three sisters did the drastic thing that they did.
उस दिन शाम को ही मैंने उनसे फोन छीना था, तो मैंने कहा फोन नहीं चलाओगे, आगे सूझ रही है। तब भी वो रात में फोन ले गए 12 बजे। 1 बजे करीब मैं दोबारा मैंने वाइफ को बोला फोन लेके आ गई, फोन लेके इनसे वो फोन लेके आ गई। अचानक की मेरी वाइफ ने आवाज मारी, मैं दूसरे रूम में लेटा हुआ था, कि ये गेट बंद कर लिया, गेट लगा लिया, अंदर से गेट लगा लिया, अंदर से गेट लगा लिया उन्होंने, गेट अंदर से लॉक कर लिया था। जब कुछ मूवमेंट नहीं नजर आई, एकदम ही कुछ गिरने की आवाज आई मुझे, मैंने दूसरी गिरली से नीचे झांका, मेरी एक बेटी नीचे पड़ी थी।
So this came from the dad. The dad say that's why they jumped.
And the media is like, that makes sense. And they just start reporting it. One expert states, adolescents today live dual lives, one physical and one digital. If the digital one collapses, some feel like they have no life left at all. This feels like a situation of, okay, Let's just keep adding on top of it until no one can see what we're going to bury to begin with. Because after that's reported, that the Kumar sisters probably did this because their phones were taken away from them, a lot of people, myself included, start questioning that narrative. Like, it's already so unheard of to begin with. But if it is true that all three sisters did this because their phones were taken away, that indicates that something is not okay with the kids.
Obviously.
Typically, children that develop such strong, deep addictions to their devices, their addiction to the phone is just a presentation of the symptoms. It's not the problem. The problem is usually family life, home life, cyberbullying, bullying, abuse, lack of community, mental health illnesses that are being ignored. It's not just like, I love my phone, I'm addicted to my phone. It's statistics.
Which is why that title, that article title pissed me off. Like, that's disgusting, honestly. It's very reductive and disgusting to say that 3 young girls jumped to their death because of their phone. Like, that's... I'm sorry, but that shit pissed me off. Like, it's not... It's very, very, very fucking misogynistic and disgusting and judgmental.
Statistically uncommon for children to die from phone addiction. They could have phone addiction and then get roped in by a predator. They could have phone addiction and then become victim to cyberbullying or blackmail. But just to have your phone taken away and that be the reason that you self-exit, it's not statistically common at all.
But you said they left a note, right?
Yes.
So is that, did they...
That
write
whole
something?
note
Yeah.
has not been released to the public. Excerpts of that note have been released, and it's weird. It's really weird. Yeah.
What
So
has
none
it
of this
been
makes sense for even one child to die because they got their phone taken away. But now you're saying it's all three sisters. Is there some sort of... I know a lot of people were thinking it was when all three sisters could go into a state of psychosis together.
I'm questioning why the full note wasn't released to the public, because I don't know, I feel like the only reason why it wasn't fully released is because there's something in the note that, like, they're still being like their death is still being investigated, and there must have been something in the note that the police didn't want to come out, because it could, like, badly impact their case or something, or their investigation. But it seems like this shit, I don't know, has it been to court yet? It feels like it's still ongoing, so maybe that's why. But if it's not, like, ongoing, release the full note, because obviously a case like this, people are gonna want to know. Ooh, I took my bronzer too low.
But that doesn't seem to be the case either. So there must be something darker on that phone. Then comes new information. See, this is why I'm like, it feels like this case, people just keep stacking information on top when questions start arising.
Right. Okay. So back to the phone thing. The dad told the news that he took away all 3 girls' phone.
Well, only 2 of the girls had phones. And then one of them had their phone taken away 3 months ago. So all 3 of them were sharing one phone. And then that phone was taken away recently.
Oh, so they're all sharing one phone, and now all 3 of them have no phone.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a bizarre, like, conclusion for a father to come to.
So then they come up with new information. They were playing a task-based game that told them to do it.
गेम के बने था, लेकिन मुझे नहीं पता था कि ये इसमें ऐसा टास्क भी है कि खुद मारने का टास्क है. मुझे पता होती जी कौन बाप अपने बच्चे को मरने देगा, सब बताओ.
There was this big scare back during the COVID days of the Blue Whale game. Do you remember that? Yeah. Okay, it's like it's an alleged 50-day, 50-task challenge where over the course of 50 days, kids would download the Blue Whale challenge or talk to people on Discord about it, and they would have to complete 50 tasks, one for each day, and they all start rather innocent. It's like, watch a scary movie, wake up in the middle of the night. And then the game finally instructs you at the end of the 50-day mark to commit the very last task, which largely turned out to be not true, this whole Blue Whale challenge.
They are concerned that some young people are exploiting the fear around this and encourage others to self-arm and carry out various dare and post a result online, stating that it was part of the Blue Whale Challenge. With interest and warnings from the police about the game have sparked criticism, claiming these messages have helped promote a fake news story. The Blue Whale game raised some important questions in terms of media influence and the power of the internet. News of the Blue Whale Challenge also comes in the same week where many questions are raised about the trending Netflix TV show based around a teen suicide. The TV show aimed at teens sparked a huge online debate on whether the show glamorized suicide. The topic also highlight the need for digital media literacy and the challenge fake news now pose for. The only Netflix TV show that I know that had that was 13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons Why was traumatizing. Some of the scenes from 13th Reason Why were generally like they were worse than what you would see in Game of Thrones in terms of this, like how disgusting it was, how graphic it was. So that bathroom scene, if you know, you know. That's all I have to say.
There was a small connection between a few deaths in Europe, specifically Russia, and the imagery of blue whales. And it could have been due to a very famous song in Russia that is centered around blue whales, or it could have been due to the fact that blue whales sometimes beach themselves, causing their own deaths. So they'll beach themselves on the shore and then they'll die. A lot of people think that it's the most reminiscent of the human self-exit. Because a lot of animals have very strong, they don't want to die.
Yeah.
So a lot of that imagery has been associated perhaps with the connection of really dark thoughts. Scientists don't really have an answer for why blue whales beach themselves. There's not really a solid one. It could be stressors from habitat change, weather sickness. It could be illnesses lurking underneath. It could be really unfortunate situations where one beached whale gets stuck and starts sending out insane distress signals, which leads to a lot of whales coming to help, and then ends up sometimes dozens of them are getting beached.
Really?
Others say that they're getting disoriented by really strong naval sonar signals being sent to them, and they panic and they rapidly surface, and then it causes decompression sickness, which ends with them getting beached. Others have argued that it really depends on the geographical location, and then you can kind of fit one of the better theories around this very strange phenomenon. For a lot of people, it just sounds very human.
So you're saying that it's still our fucking fault? I swear to fucking God, humans are like parasites on this planet.
To beach yourself. That is the connection between the blue whale imagery and a few Russian teenagers who ultimately self-exited. Instead of accepting and turning the conversation of why these kids did what they did and talking about mental health, here comes this story of these children were being preyed upon probably by an online game like the Blue Whale Challenge. And that seems to be where this entire theory of this game existing spawns out of. It then leads to forums and a ton of Discord servers and Telegram group chats now trying to recreate the game.
You're talking about blue whale.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this blue whale challenge exists. So then all of these people who want to be edgy teenagers on Discord, they start trying to recreate it and actually trying to start and make a blue whale challenge. There was even a Russian musician who confessed to creating the game, creating the challenge, but everybody says, yeah, he's just saying whatever because his entire marketing scheme for the past however long his career has been around is to create shock content and then push people to listen to his music. Outlets like the BBC question if the Blue Whale game, as we know it, ever even really existed at all, but it was one of the biggest scares in 2019.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so alas, a new story emerges with this case. They were involved in one of these task-based games. That is what Mr. Kumar is saying about his three daughters, the Kumar sisters.
गेमिंग के चक्कर में कराई है गेमिंग टास्क पूरा करा जी कौन सा गेम हमें तो ये भी नहीं पता था वो आया ना वो जो फोरेंसिक टीम ने बताया जी हमें सारी वेरिफिकेशन करके तो ये गेमिंग का सारा.
So again, this comes from the father.
Yes.
The father is saying they're playing.
Yes. He's just telling the authorities like they were playing these task-based games and the task probably told them to do this.
What?
Not a single one of the three girls thought, okay, maybe this is too far. Like maybe this isn't a game that we should play. Also, what game were they allegedly playing if the Blue Whale game isn't even a real game? Furthermore, if these kids are doing task-based challenges that only escalate until it becomes this sinister, would it not be safe to assume that there would have been other signs?
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of
bizarre
challenges,
tasks.
Right?
Did the parents not notice anything strange? They wouldn't even call each other by their given names. That's what the parents say. They would pick names from TV shows or movies that they watched, and they would start calling each other those names, like Maria, Eliza, and Cindy. Those were their new names. Their parents report it's like they were living in a parallel world where their parents, friends, everyone just was shut out so they didn't have to come back to reality. The girls would spend 20 hours a day on their phone, which, why didn't the parents stop them we don't know. Their dad says, I didn't know about the game.
20 hours a day.
हमें तो आज पता लगा कि वो टास्क चल रहा था कि वो उसमें एक ग्रुप बनी हुई थी कि जी मैं एक सीनियर हूँ वो उसके ऑर्डर मान रहे थे मैं सोच रहा गेम खेल रहे हैं जी कोई
I just knew they were on the phone. I didn't know about the game. I didn't know that the game instructs them to end it.
Did you say 20 hours a day?
Yeah.
They sleep 4 hours and then just stay on the phone for 20
Yeah,
hours?
like-
That's what he says, but I don't know.
What is he talking about?
Now he says, I mean, tell me what kind of father would let their daughters die? Tell me what kind of father would let their kid play a game that's going to cause their death? They did it because of the game. They were performing the task given out by the game.
गेम के बने था लेकिन मुझे नहीं पता था कि ये इसमें ऐसा टास्क भी है कि खुद मारने का टास्क है मुझे पता होती जी कौन बाप अपने बच्चे को मरने देगा सब बताओ
But it's the way in the interviews with Mr. Kumar, the way he's doing these interviews, there's no emotion, there's no inflection in his voice. He almost sounds bothered by having to explain what happened to the press.
मुझे पता होती जी कौन बाप अपने बच्चे को मरने देगा सब बताओ आप खुद बताओ सब कौन बाप मरने बताओ अपने बच्चों को गेम खेलने के
But not in this emotional, I'm so distraught, and you hungry bottom feeding reporters won't leave me alone until I make a statement, so here's your goddamn statement. It's not like that. There's almost like a weird air of just kind of nonchalant energy that seems very ill-fitting for a man in his position. He didn't even just lose one daughter, he lost 3 daughters, he lost 3 kids. He seems way too calm. At least that's what netizens believe. Left behind in the girls' room is the 8-page note that reads true life story with a sad face emoji. And it's a mixture of Hindi and English, and the full copy has yet to be released. And next to that is their diary with instructions for their father to read it, which again, the full copy is yet to be released. And their diary is seemingly at odds with everything that we've learned so far. Mainstream media is telling us it's a phone addiction, maybe social media addiction. It's the blue whale game. But when you see excerpts from the diary, one portion reads, "You don't know how much we loved Korea. Now see the proof. Now it's confirmed here that Korea and K-pop groups are our lives." Another portion reads, "Death is better for us than your beatings. This is why we are self-exiting. Sorry, Papa."
This is the diary. This is not from their notes.
The "Sorry, Papa" is from their note, and then the diary is "This is why we love Korea."
This is why we
Or
love...
this is how much we love Korea.
This is how much we love
Yeah.
Korea?
So the whole Korean thing starts to slowly take over every news article about the Kumar sisters. It started with 3 sisters with a phone addiction. Then it went to 3 sisters playing a task-based game online. Then now it's becoming 3 sisters obsessed with Korean culture die. They did not just die from a phone addiction or from a game, which, I mean, those were nonsensical explanations to begin with. When the dad would even explain the game, he doesn't know what game he's talking about. He doesn't know what tasks they would do. Some reports even firmly state that the police have ruled out a task-based game.
अभी तक के जांच में ऑनलाइन गेमिंग और गेमिंग में दिए जाने वाले टास्क के बारे में कोई भी तथ्य सामने नहीं आया है.
So all of that isn't making any sense. And now the father has a new version of events of why the girls did what they did. And it all starts and ends with South Korea. He said he wants everything Korea banned in India. He says Korean content should be banned in India. No Korean dramas, no Korean videos, no Korean channels. My demand from the government is ban all Korean dramas, videos, channels in India. Nothing Korea should be running in India.
कोरिया बंद होना चाहिए इंडिया में बस कोरियन नाटक चले ना कोरियन वीडियो चले ना कोरियन चैनल चले बस.
The girl's diary reads, "You don't know how much we loved Korea. The way we loved Korean actors and K-pop groups, we didn't even love family members that much." They proceed to list 19 things about Korean, Japanese, Chinese, British, Thai, American culture that their parents did not let them partake in. And it's primarily a list of shows and movies that their parents disapproved of, including cartoons like Shin-chan and Doraemon. They even wrote about how they have a younger sister. It's a 4-year-old little girl. And they were upset that the parents influenced her first because they were really excited to make the 4-year-old sister, quote, their own. But instead, their parents kept showing the 4-year-old girl Bollywood movies rather than Korean movies, which they write in their journal about their 4-year-old sister, quote, "You made her Bollywood, which we hated more than life itself."
So this is from their diary.
There's a lot of
And 3 girls
self-haters.
share one diary? Huh.
They were sharing one diary is crazy.
A few weeks back, a family friend was rear-ended. She kept hesitating about calling a lawyer because she didn't want to seem like she was making a big deal out of nothing. But here's the thing. If you have been injured in an accident, you should not let assumptions prevent you from going after fair compensation. Your recovery, your family stability, your ability to pay bills and move forward with your life matters so much more than maybe I'm being dramatic. Morgan & Morgan is the largest law firm in America, and they've successfully recovered over $30 billion for their clients. And when it really counts, they don't back down. Their team includes over 1,000 attorneys working across the country, giving them strength and resources to help you get your life back on track. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous, but hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. If you've been hurt due to the negligence of someone else, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. Just click the link in the description below or visit forthepeople.com/rotten. That's forthepeople.com/rotten or dial pound law 529 from your phone. This is a paid advertisement. Kumar, the father, has stated in an interview, they listened to Korean music, they watched Korean films and dramas, web series, and cartoons. They also wanted to go to Korea. All three wanted us to accept Korean culture, but when we refused their behavior, they went into a shell and lived in their own world. Their dad says they would only dress Korean, they would do their hair in Korean styles, they used symbols that were in the Squid Games, their wallpapers on their phones were pictures of them wearing Korean-style clothes. According to one report, their dad tried to hire them a tutor, but all of that kind of goes down the drain when the three sisters introduced themselves with their new names, Maria, Lisa, and Cindy, which, okay, it's fine, whatever. The tutor assigns the girls homework. They fail to bring back the homework. The tutor says, I sought to know the reason why, and they gave me a really weird answer, that they had been adopted from Korea and China. But she's like, what does that have to do with your homework? So she brings it up with the dad, and he's like, oh yeah, they're just so obsessed with Korea.
I feel like there's something missing because
obviously
everything just sounds so
not real,
unrelated. Like what does that mean? Like, sure, like you can be obsessed with Korean culture and K-pop and all that, but like...
And that's why I think the book and movie Virgin Self-Exit, it reminds me so much of this case is because it seems like everyone who is explaining the girl's actions don't know a thing about what it means to even be a young girl. Like, oh, it's a phone addiction. Oh, it's a task-based game that we have no proof of, but like it must be a game or something because isn't that what the kids are doing? They're like playing games. Oh, they loved K-dramas, so... telling you they wanted to be Korean and it's weird. Like it's very like I don't think you understand what these girls are even thinking about.
And these different theories all came from the father?
It seems like they start with the father. Yeah, there's gonna be more on the father. But he just says they have a fixation on everything Korean. And because they were not Korean, because they couldn't go to Korea, they died. Okay, we don't have to go down the Ollie London rabbit hole again. He is notoriously a white man who did a ton of plastic surgery and came out to say that he will now be identifying as a Korean man. I believe he's no longer Korean though. I think he's Christian now, so here we are. I don't know. It's not unheard of for people to claim that they are no longer the ethnicity that they are. It's weird, but it's been done before, and with the recent rise of people being fascinated by Korean culture and more dangerously people fetishizing Korean partners, it's not the most unheard of thing. However, it does not make sense that three sisters would die because of it. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, sure, you can have that as an indirect reason, such as they wanted to be Korean and underwent surgery but died on the operating table. They wanted to be Korean and tried this underground black market pill that someone sold them that would make them Korean. They wanted to be Korean, so they got kidnapped by someone who promised to take them to Korea. But not just, they wanted to be Korean. Period. That's it. That's how they died. Like, there has to be more to it. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. It's reported to the police that the night of their deaths, the sisters had taken their mom's phone to try and use it to get back onto the Korean games they were allegedly obsessed with. We don't even know what game really. So now it's not only a task-based game, it's a task-based Korean game. Okay, so the dad is like, yeah, they were trying to get back on that Korean game.
What does task-based game even mean?
I guess it's you do tasks in real life.
Okay.
Like the Blue Whale Challenge is like you get tasked in real life. It's not like, hey, go on this game and you get to make your own little character on the game.
So that's not even like a mobile game. That's like a Discord game with someone. Okay.
Interestingly, though, when police look into the mom's phone, there's no evidence of any sort of game or app being used that night. So either the girls were unable to get on the app, or maybe this story doesn't make any sense. When their dad took away their phones, they wrote in their diary, "Sorry, Papa, Korea was our life. How did you even dare to take this from us? We love Korean. Love, love, love." And it seems like Mr. Kumar firmly believes that Korea is the reason that his 3 daughters are gone, judging off of the way he's doing interviews and what's been found in their diaries. He tells the press, who naturally have a lot of questions. They even created a whole YouTube channel dedicated to K-dramas. They had about 2,000 subscribers, but 10 days before their deaths, they deleted it.
नहीं गेम भी खेलते थे वीडियो भी डालते थे यूट्यूब चैनल ही बना हुआ था कोरियर का उन्होंने
I don't think it was voluntary. So in other reports, Kumar, the father, says that he forced them to delete their channels based off of their growing fixation on Korean culture. They just keep living in their own world. He says that he believes probably him forcing them to delete their YouTube channel, taking away their phones, really sent them off the deep end.
Clearly.
They broke. He says, "I used to pamper my children a lot. They would watch K-dramas, Korean games, Korean reels.
Like, how unhappy and misunderstood were they? You know what I mean? Because, like, one sister killing herself, but the 3 of them literally jumping to their death is where I'm, like, extremely suspicious of what the fuck was happening behind closed door. Like, what was happening? Well, were they going to school, first of all? Because I don't know. Were they going to school? Were they getting bullied in school? The 3 of them were pretty close in age. Like, we have information missing, which is, I feel like, why we end up with all those, like, assumptions. But I really, 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 and I cannot stress this enough, I really don't like how reductionist this whole thing is. Like, the narrative is very reductive. You don't just take your life because you like Korea. It's like, I'm sorry. It's way deeper than that. There was a lot of misunderstood. Well, I mean, they said it themselves in their message. Like, they were misunderstood. They felt alone. But it's for the fact that they literally went to do the act. I feel like, no, it's the fact the 3 of them together jumping down. That's extremely graphic. I feel like they clearly wanted to send some sort of message, because you don't. Yeah. I feel like this was a message more than anything else, because otherwise they could have just, like, literally, I don't know, take some rat poisoning and drink it in their room. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like women, it's not that often that women will choose this kind of way to self-exit. So there's so much thing to unpack here, psychologically speaking, and I'm not a psychologist. So. But I feel like a psychologist would have probably a lot more to say on this situation. Obviously, that's their job. But from my extremely low level of knowledge regarding psychology, I feel like it's a mix of things that ultimately culminated in feeling like that's what they needed to do, which is crazy. Well, I'm not calling them the 3 girl crazy. I'm saying, like, the situation is crazy.
Eyes were swollen, which is why I took away their phones. They were angry about this. Is taking away your child's phone a sin?
पूरा समय देते थे लेकिन वो छुप के कर रहे थे क्योंकि वो डरते थे मैं फोन छीन लेता था आंखें सूज जाती थी उनकी फोन चलाते चलाते उनकी आंखें सूज जाती और वो मेरे डर के मारे रात 12 बजे से 4 बजे तक फोन चलाते थे.
He says the night of their deaths, around 10 p.m., so only 4 hours before they passed, he spoke with the girls, and he says before he went to sleep in his room, he asked the girls, "Did you guys eat dinner?" They respond, "Yes, we want to go to Korea." Mr. Kumar says they insisted on going to Korea again, but I told them we are Indians and we should behave like one instead of adopting a foreign culture. And he says that they could not live without their connection to Korea, which they only got through their phones. And maybe it's the way that the family and Mr. Kumar specifically have spoken about this incident. The mothers, I mean, they've been largely out of the public eye, but it's the way that he just keeps saying it's Korea, it's a Korean obsession. Maybe he is trying to say that the girls fell into a deep depression because they were unable to have a Korean connection or be Korean. Maybe he's trying to say it's depression, but it just comes off really confusing. One comment puts it heartlessly. What? So the girls wanted to become Korean and the father said they have to be Indian. This is so confusing and like funny. I don't know why they said that, but that's what the comments reads. When Koreans read this too, I'm sure they'll also be confused because as Indians, we're so confused. It seems to me that the girls thought Korea was some kind of paradise in which characters and happenings of their games were literally true. Such fantasies are becoming common amongst growing kids. The whole thing is just weird. Maybe everyone, myself included, we are all naive and we don't want to believe it's possible for three sisters to just do this because they love Korea, or it's just weird. So for example, when going through all the different reports, some reports say that the eldest daughter, the 16-year-old, got her phone 3 months ago, some say 6 months ago, but it was sold 3 months ago. So she only had it for 3 months. Then the 14-year-old girl, the middle sister, got a phone 15 days ago, but it was taken away maybe 48 hours before their deaths. But regardless, if they got their phone 6 months ago and it was taken away 3 months ago, or 3 months ago and then it was recently taken away, it doesn't really matter. All I'm saying is the girls, the three sisters probably had 1 or 2 phones that they were sharing for what, max 3 months? It's kind of bizarre to think that they would create such a strong universe inside of their phones, inside of their heads, in that time span, that they would come to such a fatal decision at the end because of addiction. Furthermore, one comment online puts it really well. Sure, yeah, the kids might be addicted to their phones, but that's not why they did what they did. There's definitely a bigger reason why. They had to rely on apps for emotional support. Why did nobody bother checking up on them? But what's even stranger is that in that interview, their father says that they had been addicted to this Korean task-based video game for the past 2.5, 3 years. Which is weird considering they haven't had a phone for that long.
What game?
He doesn't know what game. Some reports say the police came out and flat out said there is no game. So we don't even know what game he's talking about.
Yeah,
but there's just, he keeps referencing a game.
Doesn't even sound like he knows what he's talking about.
No, and then when people ask like what kind of tasks, right?
He can easily just be like, hey, here's the game.
Yeah.
Like that will explain so many questions that everybody has.
Okay, so he was asked multiple times and I was watching a few interviews and it was very frustrating. The reporters keep asking him, well, can you give us an example of the different types of tasks that they would do?
Yeah.
So I don't think the reporters are even skeptical of him. I think it's more so there is a huge fear probably in every nation, including India, definitely in places like Australia, where I think you can't even have social media if you're under the age of 15 now. But in India, they want to have similar laws put in place.
I see.
And so a lot of the reporters are like, tell us what kind of tasks so that other parents can notice if their kids are doing these tasks. But the dad would just say things like, can you really believe, as a man, as a father, I would let my kids die? That's his like go-to response. Multiple times. He's asked about specific tasks or specific questions, and he always says, would a father think about it? If I knew they were playing this game, would a father let their kids die?
Roland the Snitch 1967. Thank you for the follow and hi.
कौन बाप अपने बच्चे को मरने देगा सब बताओ आप खुद बताओ सब कौन बाप मरने देगा अपने बच्चों को गेम खेलने के
Normally no, but he's being so sus. So
Yeah,
and
it's
why
a-
does he keep saying that? I feel like we read it somewhere that's like a default response to something that you don't want to admit.
It's very bizarre. And I think, okay, normally I would be very hesitant and very cautious of casting any sort of doubt on any of the family members involved. But I think the household really needs to be looked at because when you have 3 children have such a drastic action, there's something going on in their lives.
Yep.
And if the parents failed to notice it, is it truly they were that good at not being alert and not being aware of what's happening with their kids? At the very least, is it neglect, right? It just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's clearly a form of neglect because it's a form of neglect, but also I feel like I don't have kids, so I can't. That's only my impression. But I don't have kids, so I can't say for sure. But I feel like everybody with 2 brain cells know that you just don't jump to your death for no reason. That's number one. You don't jump to your death for fun. Like, you don't jump to your death because you love Korea. Um, I really feel like I don't understand why they didn't release their everything that was written on their goodbye letter. I feel like that's weird, because ultimately at this point, why hide it? Like, it just lead people to make speculation, and I feel like because people are left with their imagination, it makes the parent look even worse.
What about the moms?
They have been very quiet. They're not even doing interviews. The grandma on the mom's side did an interview, which we're going to get into in a second, but she's like, I love my kids. I love my grandkids. I love my son-in-law.
How's dad's energy? Like, you said he's like
So nonchalant. I didn't see him cry. I don't see him choke up. It's just weird. The way he responds is very aggressive, but again, not in the way that I would be able to understand of, I am grieving, leave me alone. It's not that kind of aggressive. It's more like, I mean, what kind of dad would let their kids die? Why are you even asking me these questions? We need to ban Korea. Like, it's very like that.
It feels like he's like trying to point finger at someone or something.
That's not him.
That's not him, but everything he point at just
weird.
doesn't stick. There's
Yeah.
no logical reasons to think that's the reason.
And that's why I think we keep getting new things to try and stick onto. So phone addiction, video game, and now Korea and Korean video game.
Right.
He says that they were playing this Korean video game for 2.5, 3 years. We don't know what game, and they didn't have a phone for that long, so we don't know how they were playing. Maybe they were using their parents' phone to play, but we don't know about that either, because remember the night that they passed, they took their mom's phone and they tried to use the game. Police took the mother's phone, ran forensics on it. There was no evidence of any game being accessed.
So did the dad made up that story then? What's going on?
I guess he could argue that they tried to get
Delete
the
it?
game, but they couldn't get the game, or it was password locked. I don't know. But also, it just doesn't make sense. How are they playing for 3 years, but then they didn't have a phone for that long? But then when you check the mom's phone, she doesn't have the game. So where were they playing this game for 2.5, 3 years? Nobody even knows what game they're talking about. And there is a list of video games on the girl's diary that they wrote about loving, because they had all these lists of all the shows that they love, movies that they love that their parents don't like. And it was a list of games that are on the horror side. Now, these are completely legal, normal games.
Like Phasmophobia?
Just horror-themed games that anyone of a certain age can play. They certainly don't tell you to do things in real life. If anything, they'll just make you have kind of a scary dream at night. Poppy Playtime, The Baby in Yellow, Ice Cream Man, Evil Nun, Ice Cream Game. Like, these are all, you can get them on Steam Deck. They're not black market. I gotta download from a Discord server. Not black market, but like, you get it. Like, they're so niche
They're
and
just
weird.
Like, just regular schmegler games?
Yeah, probably put out by some of the biggest gaming companies in the world. It's not these super niche, we don't know what's going on inside this game.
And the girl wrote it because the dad banned them from playing it, or doesn't?
Just disproved it. Yeah.
Right, I see.
But they didn't
So
write any sort of game that
That's
is
very
Blue Whale.
interesting. Yeah. It sounds like the girl likes to play video games and the girl likes K-pop or Korean TV shows. And the dad
And
doesn't
none of
like
that
any
is
of those.
illegal.
So like Korean shows, no. Gaming, no. In his mind, he turned this into they want to be Koreans and they are addicted to these Korean games because their diary are very normal teenager behavior.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like asking his dad to explain video games.
Yeah. It's just fishy. Something is off. Something feels wrong about it, especially when you factor in all the other oddities of this case. Like how one page in the girl's diary reads, "Do we live in this world to get beaten by you? Death would be better for us than these
Dang.
beatings."
Bro.
Another excerpt in their diary reads, "The mention of marriage caused tension in our hearts." Who are they getting beaten by? Who and why would they be getting married? They're children. They're 12, 14, and 16 years old. And they're not the first ones to die from that balcony. Almost a decade ago, in 2015, another woman had fallen from the same exact balcony. She was partially clothed and she let out a big scream before falling to the ground. It is reported that this was the live-in girlfriend of the father, Mr. Kumar. So he's got 3 wives and a live-in girlfriend that also died in 2015. She had fallen, and originally reports stated that she was trying to hang clothes outside to dry but slipped and fell. Ultimately, most mainstream outlets seem to agree on the fact that the police closed the case, stating she self-exited. When the father was asked about his live-in girlfriend that died in the very similar fashion, he just responds, I don't want to talk about this.
That's crazy.
Whoa,
So
that's
what is the
actually
cause? Is
crazy.
it video games? Is it Korea? It can't all be a coincidence, right? Netizens don't think so. One comment reads, all these explanations of their deaths look like a bunch of buzzwords thrown together. We gotta look at the history of the family. One netizen comment reads, the Blue Whale game itself was a case of mass hysteria. There's very little evidence of such a game existing. Most of the victims are just really sad teens, and most probably their parents were giving police extremely false leads. This seems to also be the case here. Even though it might not be the parents' fault, but many times parents are negligent towards the mental health of their kids, hence they might put blame on some game to escape from taking responsibility. Another comment reads, obsession with Korean culture is just
I agree with that. I feel like too many time parents do blame like video games and whatnot when the reality is there was clearly neglect. There was a form of neglect because what do you mean you didn't know that your son would shoot up the school? What do you mean you didn't know? Well, like, and I don't want to be too harsh either because sometimes it really is just like this the child had severe and serious sometimes undiagnosed mental health issues, but like I still there's something extremely traumatizing with the idea that these three young girls, not older than 15, I think, like as far as I'm concerned, they were babies. Well, but these teenage girls, like, jumping to their death together. There's something extremely dark-sided about that. Because it's a crazy way to kill yourself, knowing that you're going to be found. I feel like there's something public about this that they wanted to release as like a one last message, because I just feel like it's very convenient. I also feel like maybe in a way they were trapped. They didn't feel like they had any sort of escape for their reality, and all their escapism was taken away because their phone kept being like confiscated. So they only had themselves alone against the world. It was them three against the world. I feel like that's probably what was happening in their mind, because they were heartbroken, they felt alone, they felt misunderstood, and they wanted to escape to the point where they wanted literally to like take their whole life to a different country. It's not just the fucking phone. Now I'm looking at this dad funny. The dad is weird. It's weird. I'm like, oh.
just a symptom. The real issue is loneliness and isolation. And I think netizens would be less skeptical if the girl's father took responsibility for maybe not being as present in the girls' lives, but he just keeps blaming it on everybody else. He says, quote, I have no fault here. I took care of them. Maybe the only mistake was providing a phone, and through the phone they got connected to the Korean world.
एक लाइन में आप ये बता दीजिए आपके तीनों बच्चों की मौत की वजह क्या है? क्या गेम है या फिर आपका न देख पाना है या फिर परवरिश में आपके कमी है?
मेरा कोई वो नहीं है। मेरा पूरा वो था, मैं बच्चों को पूरी केयर करता था। बस ये कि मैंने थोड़ा सा ये डिले करा कि उन्हें फोन प्रोवाइड कराया और फोन के जरिए वो कोरियन से जुड़े।
But when you dig deeper, there's way more to it than just K-dramas. The girls dropped out of school in 2020. They weren't going to school ever since. They haven't been homeschooled. They were not going to socialize with other kids. They had zero education for the past 5 years. Their grandmother on their mom's side states everyone loved them. They were good girls. They had good values. They used to study and write and everything, which could be true. They could be self-learning, but I'm not sure how productive that is. Just a few months before their passing, like I said, their father had hired a tutor to privately tutor the 3 girls.
All 3 of them stopped going to school in 2020.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The youngest one's only 12. That means she hasn't been since she was 7, like first grade.
Yeah.
What's the reason? Did the father explain?
No. He says that he did try to get a tutor for them 3 months before their passing. And that tutor has now come out to say, I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time with them, but they were very weak in their studies. At their age, they couldn't even do basic calculations. Even the 16-year-olds, they could barely recognize numbers. Quote, they couldn't even copy numbers or letters from textbooks. So, like I said, they refused to do their homework. The tutor is like, why didn't you do their homework?
But they were able to, clearly they were able to read or something because they were obsessed with Korea. And I'm sorry, this is a foreign language. Like, everything about this is so weird. You're gonna let your 7 years old daughter stop school? Because there's law about this, at least here. Like, I think that you're not allowed to, if you're a child, you have to go to school, if I'm not mistaken. So what the fuck do you mean they were not in school for the past 5-6 years? Like, that's allowed? You can do that?
Said we were adopted from Korea and China. The tutor is like, I don't know what's going on, but I don't think you need a tutor. Like, maybe you need something else. So she actually, for the first time in her career, returned the money back to the dad and was like, I don't know what to do. I don't think I can be their tutor.
Whoa, I feel like there's something so dark going on.
The father tries to argue it's because the girls don't do anything that has nothing to do with Korean culture, and they only want to talk about Korea and be in Korea and be Korean. But some people say, no, it's more than that.
Yeah.
Look at the dad's financial history. The Kumar family lives in a gated community, which I would say naturally creates an environment where everyone gets to know their neighbors a lot better, unless you are the Kumars. One neighbor says, I rarely ever saw the kids, and I almost never saw them interacting with other kids in the neighborhood. I never even saw them going to school or to the park. They were just isolated. I don't know if they would go as far to say that they were hidden, but it does seem like there was some intentional effort being made, maybe by the kids, the family, or both, for them not being outside. Another neighbor says, I don't know, they spent most of their time just confined in a single room. We never saw them outside. The whole family kept to themselves. Here's why people don't think it's the girls choosing to self-isolate though. People in the neighborhood point to the fact that Mr. Kumar used to be a very successful businessman, but he recently got into debt stock trading. And ever since then, he did not like interacting with people. And he would do this thing where he would never hold his head high. He would wear a face mask everywhere he went. It doesn't matter if it's no longer COVID, if he's not sick, if it's hot and humid outside, it doesn't matter. He's always wearing a face mask. And it seemed like there was some sort of embarrassment laced in there. The history of the father, Mr. Kumar, is not squeaky clean. He's illegally married to multiple women, 3 women. This is not legal. More on that later, but he works as a stock trader. Unfortunately, he is one of those stock traders that would probably be the best at stock trading if he never traded. He would probably make more money never touching the market than touching the market. He's deep in debt. Some reports say that he's $115,000 in debt, which would be an astronomical amount. If you factor in that area, the average annual salary is $5,000 to $8,000 a year. He later claims he's not $115,000 in debt. He says it's only about $10,000 to $20,000, which is still a lot. He's deep in debt. He has to support 3 wives that he lives with. He has 5 kids with them. So you have the 3 sisters that passed. Then you have 2 other children that he has to take care of. And having multiple wives, let alone wives that are biological sisters, all living together, raising kids together, is not normal. We spoke with our Indian researcher and he says, yeah, it's not normal. It's also not legal. Sister wives. I mean, they literally are sister wives. So the grandmother, this is the sister wife's mother. She describes it. Well, when he was married to one sister, the other sister fell in love with him out of her own free will. And the original sister that married him was unable to conceive for a while. So Kumar and the second sister get married with the intention of having children.
मैंने कोई बात नहीं उसका नहीं हो रहा तो 2 बहनें मिलकर रहेंगी और बच्चा अच्छा हो जाएगा तो उसके भी जरिए रहेगा फिर सुजाता के हो गया था.
But then the original sister ends up pregnant, and then the other sister ends up pregnant, and they're all just getting pregnant. And the mother of the sister wives say, I said it doesn't matter. 2 sisters will live together, and if they have a child, then, there will be a means for that too. So she kind of believes that it's okay considering the original sister was an arranged marriage with Kumar. She believes, there wasn't a lot of love there. It was more arranged marriage. And then the second sister, they fell in love with Mr. Kumar. But I still think that's really alarming. And it seems like everyone in the area must have known what was happening in that house, but perhaps everybody just approached the subject with not my business, not my problem. Or maybe they thought as long as everybody's happy, who are we to judge? But the wives were not happy. May of 2025, two of his wives walked out and went to the police station. And then he went to the police station to report them missing. Eventually, they returned to the house and nothing came of it. But this is not a family dynamic that people are jealous of. There's clearly turmoil there. We're not sure which of the wives walked out. We're not sure about anything, but this is not a healthy family dynamic. One person comments, according to the Hindu Marriage Act, you can't marry another woman if your first wife is alive and you haven't divorced her. How did this man marry multiple times and all of them are living together? But there is an interview with the grandmother, so the sister wife's mom, and she says, my daughters were good and my son-in-law was good too.
मेरी बच्ची अच्छी थी और दामाद भी अच्छा था मेरा, बेटियां भी सही थी. लेकिन पता नहीं उसके बाद क्या हुआ क्या नहीं, मुझे नहीं मालूम.
What was he? Netizens have been skeptical of his largely unemotional appearance in all the interviews that he does. He keeps rambling about Korean video games, Korean shows, and not providing any sort of details about what happened to his daughters. What show? What game? What anything? When asked about it, he just keeps diverting the conversation. Then a neighbor comes out to report something really odd. They say the night of the girl's death, everyone who was awake in the apartment building heard a commotion. Others woke each other up, but it seems like there is evidence that the father looked over the balcony first and he saw that his daughters were deceased. Going off of his interviews, he freaks out, he wakes up his wife, they head downstairs. But as they're heading downstairs, one of the neighbors is with them in the little elevator lift, and all 9 floors down, it's the 3 of them, the father, one wife, we don't know which one, and a neighbor. The neighbor says it was weird. So by this point, it seems like both of them know what happened. But the father, he's so calm, he's stoic the whole way down, and meanwhile, his wife is having a more normal response. However, she's very oddly angry at him, hitting him, screaming him the whole way down to the ground floor.
That's really telling.
Even when they get down to the ground floor, the wife is busy trying to cover the girls with clothing, a scarf, and neighbors report the whole time she would be putting a scarf over the girls and then going to hit her husband and then trying to cover the girls' faces and then going to abuse her husband is how they say it. I mean, why is she so mad at him?
Whoa.
But the craziest thing is, I do think it is dangerous to cast doubt or suspicion on a grieving family member, especially when, in the note, the girls don't address their mom at all. So the police believe that they had a stronger connection to their dad. So they'll write things like, sorry, Papa, on their note, but it doesn't make any sense.
Do we know these notes are from the girls?
It seems like it was written by them. All of it is not adding up. It's very odd. And a lot of the people in India are just wondering, why are we not getting the full note then?
Yeah, exactly.
Because all of this is weird and it's creating a lot of hysteria. So I was browsing on a lot of Indian subreddits, and Indian netizens are saying a lot of the older generations, they're latching onto the mainstream titles of, oh my gosh, phones are killing the youth. Which, I mean, to some degree, maybe there is truth there, but not to this level. Oh, it's a Korean video game. A lot of people were protesting Korean media. They were trying to protest, anything Korean. A lot of older, more traditional Indian parents were saying, we have to watch out for Western culture, American culture infiltrating our youth, and now we have to watch out for Korean culture. Like, it's just another thing that we have to shield our kids from. And I get it. I think different cultures have different aesthetics and things that we might not all approve of, but it's just been creating mass hysteria amongst the older generations. And then all of the younger generations are like, hey guys, so I don't think it's that. Something weird is happening here, but no one wants to listen to them.
So all mainstream media talking about our Korea video game.
Yeah, I guess it's a more catchy title even in the US. Of like, can you believe these girls wanted to be Korean? Haha, K-pop. It's been like that vibe. That's the energy.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, I really don't think that's at all what is happening here. But a lot of netizens have come to some sort of conspiracy with the father. They think either there must be some sort of abuse or at the very least severe neglect in that house to cause the girls to be at such a state in their lives.
I mean, they talk about a beating in their letters, so like clearly there was some sort of abuse. Otherwise, I feel like the beating thing would have never been mentioned, but it was mentioned. It was in their letters, so
Others are pointing to the fact that you have seen a lot of children be victims of alleged CSA who are isolated from their peers, who don't go to school, who might still have fond feelings towards their abusers. And these are all just allegations and conspiracies online, which again, I would never even put in this episode had the interviews of the father not been so bizarre. And just nothing makes sense. Like, if we had a theory that made sense of why the girls did what they did, I don't even think I would even entertain such a conspiracy theory because I don't think it's appropriate, but nothing makes sense. And then people thought, well, maybe the father is ashamed because of his financial state. Maybe he mentioned marrying them off to make money for his debt. Because why else would girls write things like, oh, even the mention of marriage caused tension in our hearts?
Yep, I can see that, yeah.
And maybe they don't hate their dad, they just don't like the idea of getting married. So that's why they wrote, sorry, Papa, like, you can't pay off your debt because we're just gonna. But would that not be included in the letter? I don't know. There are netizen speculations that perhaps the dad threatened to marry them off and took their phone, disconnecting them from the world. Or some people think maybe not, because there's a part in their diary that reads, you try to make us give up Korea. Korea was our life. You expected our marriage to an Indian, and that can never happen. So some people are saying, well, maybe the girls had brought up, one day I'm going to grow up and marry someone Korean. And the dad did whatever dads do, which is like, no, you're not. You're going to marry an Indian man. And he didn't even think about it. And the girls took this to heart and they started internalizing all of this information, and that made them super depressed. But I feel like that's a very weird theory.
I think that the girls would have, like, I feel like if you base your idea of an entire country on the art that they release, you know what I mean? Because you would think, watching a lot of Korean drama, that rich, handsome, young, fit, loyal, ride or die CEO would often fall in love with the young, struggling, poor, miserable, young female actress. Like, it's just. It's called fiction for a reason. That's why people get award for their performance. But it's not rooted in reality. I think that it was neglect and loneliness. I feel like those are the two things. Those are the two things that I get.
So as of right now, police have stated that they will be furthering the investigation to try and find what, if any, apps were being used by the girls on their phones. The problem is the father sold their phones, both of their phones, to make up for his debt. So they have to track down the phones and then try to run forensics on them, see if they were talking to anybody, encouraging them to do what they did. But their deaths so far have been ruled a self-exit. The sister's grandma on the mom's side states, I'm in a lot of grief. I feel like, how did this happen to us? This should not have happened. Our granddaughters were very good, very nice, educated too. Our girls were good. They loved me a lot. They loved grandfather and aunt. They loved everyone. She says whenever she would visit, the three sisters would surround her on the bed and hold her close until all of them fell asleep.
मुझे बहुत प्यार करती थी. जब मैं जाती थी इनके घर पे, तो तीनों बेटियां मुझे घेर लेती थी चारों तरफ से और मुझे सुलाती थी अपने साथ. पकड़ के नानी आप हमारे साथ सोओगे.
And while a lot of netizens feel sympathy for the Kumar family, some want the parents, especially the dad, to be investigated. They don't think that he might have outright killed his daughters, but they think that there's way more to the story. One comment reads, I hope the father was arrested for sheer neglect. Another comment reads, this whole case is shady. I don't believe for a single second they killed themselves over K-pop. That seems like some made up BS the father made up. He was married to 3 women and pulled his daughters out of school and kept them at home. Nothing about their lives was normal. Another commentator writes, the dad is weird. He lied to the media about the K-pop angle. He created a distraction to evade the situation. Anyone who thought it could really be because of a game was misled by the media. And that is where we are right now with the case of the Kumar sisters. What are your thoughts on this case?
That's
so
it?
shady.
Yeah, everything about it just doesn't make sense. And everyone who keeps coming out, the dad mainly, who keeps giving his version of why the girls did it, it just reminds me so much of the novel Virgin Self-Exit, because it's like, I don't even think he knew his own daughters.
Really?
None of this makes sense. If you've ever been like a 12, 14, 16-year-old girl, none of this really makes sense.
Yeah. Even the fact that just they're not in school for 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest red
That
flag.
alone is like
Come
such
on.
a
What are your
huge
thoughts?
red
Leave it in the
flag.
comments. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
actually crazy. Let's see. The daughter, death is better than your beating. The dad, they died from the phone addiction. Exactly. Fell off this game. The same man balcony and he's not in prison. Yeah, 4 women fell off this man's balcony. India is one of the most misogynistic society in the world, and crimes against women are not taken very seriously unless it's a wealthy or upper middle class woman. India has a high rate of suicide amongst women. Also, the highest not of the highest no of accident of young women. Most of these are murders, which are shown as accidents or suicide. But in truth, a lot of it is feminicide, either by parents or in-laws. Jesus Christ. Actually, it may have been 5, according to another article in 2018. His sister-in-law came over and fell off the balcony during that visit, and then it was declared an accidental death. Huh? So his ex-wife, the sister of his 2 current wife, and his 3 daughter. What are we doing? The fact that that he sold their phone before they were investigated is the biggest red flag. I mean, the phone were they sold like recently, or oh yeah. You know that commenter is right. Them going to the washroom together is way more than just it's way more just normal red flag. Like yeah, because I feel like I don't understand why I feel like letting us know about this detail is not very smart. Because what do you mean? Every time they would shower together, they would go to the bathroom together. What is happening? Like, this is so weird. This is actually fucking weird. I couldn't, and obviously I can't relate because I'm extremely independent and I love my space and I love being alone. But even if, let's say, I don't know, back when I was younger, like if I would, me and my little sister, we like sleeping in the same room. It was like a weird privilege. Like we had like this bunk beds thing, and we would sleep in the same room, or whatever. It was like, oh my god, special occasion, can we sleep together? And we sleep in a bunk bed. I don't remember why it was such a big deal. I'm not gonna lie, but still, and but that was it. The rest of the time, we each had our own room, and every time she went to the bathroom, I didn't feel like I should go with her. Every time she showered, I didn't feel like I needed to go with her, and vice versa. Uh, Kiviyuko 1. Was it a prison? No, I'm watching the story of 3 sisters aged 13, 14, and 15 who jump to their death from their home's balcony. Or from their bedroom balcony. uh and the dad is blaming their phone addiction and the fact that they were obsessed with Korean drama and Korean culture, but clearly there was a lot of things that was happening behind the scene that a lot of people are still trying to unpack. They left a very detailed suicide note. They left journals. Unfortunately, a lot of those were not released to the public. Only certain excerpts of them were released, and from what we can read clearly, Korea, and cell phone were more like a symptom, but not the cause. You know what I mean? Like stuff was happening, but also the fact that his ex-wife also fell off this balcony years ago. That's starting to be a lot of women who are dying in the vicinity of this man. And also every time he's getting interviewed, he doesn't feel you don't feel like you're watching a grieving father. Because I wouldn't be able to I would probably go in the deepest depression of my life if my three daughters jumped to their death. I would not even be able to talk to the police or the media or anybody. People would have to literally like scrape my body off my mattress because there was no way I would be able to function. And this man is just out there chatting like it's not that big of a deal and it's not his fault and it's fucking weird. Started to see a pattern. Well, clearly there's a pattern of mistreatment and neglect because also all three of the girls stopped going through school in 2020. They, like, the youngest was 7 back then. All three of them stopped going to school in 2020. They were sleeping together all the time. They were sleeping, like, they would sleep in the same bed. They would do everything together. They would go to the toilet together. They would shower together. Didn't go, none of them were going to school. And they jumped together. What do you think that dad does that? I think that clearly the dad is the culprit because in one of the letters that was released, like in something that was released to the public, what a quote that we can read is, what did the quote was saying? The quote was saying, "Death is better than your beating." They didn't say Korea is better than your beating. They didn't say K-pop is better than your beating. They didn't say our cell phone is better than your beating. They said death is better than your beating. Like, sir, what are we doing? Go inside a man's mind that doesn't care two shit about his daughter. Of yeah, this man is very, very suspicious. Hello, Roland Snitch, 1967. Nah, it's just fucking weird. Like, the fact that the father girlfriend slipped and died the same way years ago. Yep. Especially considering the fact that it was not even an actual balcony. It was not a place that was easily accessible. Like, you actually had to. Like, I wouldn't go on that balcony because it's too much work. I'm just gonna open the window, like, if I need fresh air. You're German? Oh, I don't speak German, honey. I'm in French Canada. But the sad thing is that is just one of the sad story. Yeah. I mean, if you take all these stories together, you have 3 young girls and a previous girlfriend years ago. You have 4 women who jumped to their death from that exact same fucking apartment. And I read somewhere in the comment that, like, his sister-in-law too, but I don't know about that. Stephanie didn't say anything about that. You have too much sadness. Ugh. They will blame a game, blame the phone, blame the victim, but never themselves. Yeah. The Indian media tactfully manipulated the older generation by throwing out words like K-pop obsession, phone addiction. Ask my mother if she knew about the case. She said she did, and that the girls had killed themselves because they were addicted to their phone. When I asked her why not send them to school for 5 years, she replied that they were so engrossed that they didn't want to go out. I explained how they wrote about beatings and about being afraid of marriage, of arranged marriage, where she replied that she didn't know any of these things. Just goes to show how the media has been spreading lies, half truth, and misinformation to paint a picture of disobedient, out of control kids who fell prey to their phones. I could not have said it better. I could not have said it better. Actually insane. Actually insane. We think about that. You jump down, die. How the hell are you going to use a phone then? Oh, well, their phone were confiscated and the dad sold their phone. So there's that. Yeah. Oh boy, that's tragic. That's actually tragic. All right. let's start another fucking true crime. Am I married? No. Am I gonna marry you? No. Roland Snitch 1967. I do not plan on getting married anytime soon.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Brookfield Police! The RP said there was a stalker. Oh,
82 days before the murder, there is a break-in. And in the event of a break-in, usually something is going to be stolen from the house. Most times, it's going to be whatever that is within reach and is the most valuable. Nobody is breaking and entering, risking jail time to steal a can opener and the remainder of your laundry detergent. They want electronics, they want cash, they want things that they can resell and make money from. This is a literal cash grab with a side of trespassing. That's what most break-ins are. It's devastating, but at least you know that the motive is very clear. Whoever did this wants money, they're committing atrocious crimes to make money. But what if someone breaks into your house and they take something that is not of monetary value? They don't steal the $1,000 iPad that's in clear view, or the phone, or the car. They steal your journal that you write in every single day. It's not a password book. You don't have some sort of ledger for Bitcoin in there. It's just like your deepest inner thoughts, leather-bound journal that financially would fetch no more than $10 on the market resold. Or what if someone breaks in and you check the entire house up and down, nothing's been taken, nothing. And it's not like they didn't have time. And then you walk by the console under your TV and there's the picture frame, the picture of your entire family that you framed last year during Christmas. The frame is still there, but the photo is gone.
Oh.
They had time to take the photo out of the frame, but they didn't take anything else? No valuables? What are they planning on doing with the picture? Or you go upstairs to try and collect yourself. You're about to shower and in the drawer, your hairbrush is gone. It's missing. Or maybe they take that one magnet that you have on the refrigerator that you bought during your first time going to Yosemite. What the hell are they gonna do with that? Or any of these things. These are the things that will keep people up at night. It's not just like the random violation of someone breaking into your home, which is typically the only private place that people can truly feel safe. But it's the fact that you don't know who did it. You don't know why they did it. It's clearly not for money. Then what is it for? Are they gonna come back? For the Krug family house in Colorado, it's even more alarming than all of those. Daniel Krug, the father of 3 kids and husband of Christine Krug, calls 911. Daniel's standing at the end of his driveway talking to the officer, and he's explaining, as I pulled in, I saw someone run out, jump over my gate, and take off that way. Like, he walked in on this trespassing, on someone breaking and entering.
I didn't think to call you until my wife got home recently, and we realized the spare key that we keep in the garage isn't there.
If someone breaks into your house and they only take the spare key,
Bruh.
the only reason they would do that is to come back later.
Yeah.
But to do what? Over the course of the next 82 days, it will be like the person who broke into that house never even left the house. Strange things are gonna start to happen to the Krug family, almost driving them to the point of being completely paranoid. And then finally, one of them is going to be killed in that very house. We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the National Network to End Domestic Violence. They are a nonprofit dedicated to ending relationship, workplace, and stalking violence. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Today's episode includes mentions of stalking, DV, so viewer discretion is advised, and please take care, take breaks, and with that, let's get into it. When you read a lot of fiction books, there's going to be patterns that you're noticing. And it's not just like the tropes. It could be the 7-point structure, the hero's journey. Save the cat is like a popular one. It's the outline of the story. And oftentimes, I highly doubt authors are even using outlines like this.
Save the cat?
It's like a storyline. A lot of movies and books follow this exact point progress. It's like the progression of a story.
Like third chapter breakup?
Yes, like a third chapter breakup that I always complain about. It's like that. But like third chapter breakup is maybe more so a trope, but this would like fit into the whole from start to finish. There's almost like an outline of ups and downs. And it's very interesting. I think it's because humans are comfort creatures. We enjoy stories with similar journeys, similar endings. The point is, if you read a lot of bad fiction, you notice these frameworks. If you read a lot of good fiction, which most fiction is good, you won't even notice these frameworks because they either don't follow it to a T or they do it so well that it just feels like a brand new story in a brand new world. But ultimately, most books can be boiled down to the 3-act structure.
Yep.
Which is how I'm going to boil down this case for you. Not because I think that this is reminiscent of a fictional storyline, but because somebody involved in today's case thought that their plan would play out like the movies. They even mention movies and fiction multiple times. Act 1 is the promise. You get thrown into the world and you don't really know what's going on. And the Krug family house sits in the middle of a residential neighborhood where all the neighbors are closely stationed nearby. Their houses are very close in proximity. The streets are smaller, the sidewalks are well maintained, people like to walk their pets outside. It's the neighborhood that a lot of the houses decorate for Christmas, and at night you have to close your blinds, otherwise the red and green, not so jolly anymore. They're gonna drive you crazy when you're trying to sleep, but not December of 2023. Something happens in the neighborhood. As the Christmas lights are going off, police are stationed behind "do not cross" yellow tape. It's been like that for a while. Eventually, a neighbor stops the car in front of an officer and asks, "Are we safe?"
We live in the neighborhood. Are we safe?
Neighbors are asking, are we safe? I mean, it's a good question, considering in one of the houses that looks just like the others on the outside, it's like a regular, nice family suburban home, there is one family that is preparing for something. That's what it feels like. They have a whole gun safe filled with weapons, and there's schedules to go learn and how to use these guns.
Am I making beauty for you? No. She talks fast and stupid. Huh? What you think me, you and I, Roland? Look, I'm pro freedom of speech as long as people are not racist, but you're starting to annoy the fuck out of me, bro. I'm gonna need you to relax and try to have a normal conversation. And if you can't have that, I'm gonna have to ban you. So calm down.
They have family codes. These are not just shared between parents, but with the children. Orange means caution, near normal operations. Red, high alert, limit visitations.
Like they're talking to each other. Today is code orange, or right now it's code red.
Yeah, or like certain activities are orange, red, nuclear, and they wrote it down.
Okay.
Nuclear means lockdown, separate locations, active threat. I think it is a pretty good idea to teach kids about active threats and what to do in case of emergencies. But the level at which this particular family is preparing, it seems like there is an imminent threat that they know about, not just like a potential what if. The whole family has to know, and they have all these thorough, well thought out plans on how to keep everyone safe. On a separate piece of paper, it reads, needs gun training, add walking lights, add fence lights, add outdoor cameras, add front door security, protection orders in place, trim landscaping for visibility, add extra security system, replace sliding glass door with regular doors. What are they preparing for? And do the neighbors know? Like, are they all preparing for the same thing? Why are all the neighbors scared too? December 14th, there is a wellness check being done at the Krug house. The officer goes to the front door to knock, and there's someone there, just standing in front of the front door. A woman in a big puffer jacket.
Outside or inside?
Outside. And she looks a little startled. Oh, I'm their neighbor, and they called me. They're like, can you go see if she'll answer the door? So a neighbor was asked to check up on the residents of this house too. And she's like, you got it from here. She walks off. The officer starts knocking on the door. Nobody responds. He peers inside the window. I mean, the rest of the house and the property, it seems completely normal.
Is there police cam footage of these?
Yes. Okay. According to his official report later, he's looking through the front door window. Nothing is amiss. There's no coffee table that's been overturned, no broken glass. There's nothing. According to his official report later, quote, everything looked orderly, quiet. I gave the door a loud knock. He says that he thought whoever he's checking in on probably isn't even home right now, and he's about to drive off in the patrol car when he decides, I'm just gonna see if there's a car inside the garage to be extra thorough. The Krug family garage has those windows at the very top of the garage that let sunlight in, but they're so high up that you can't even really tippy-toe and see into them. So the officer walks back down to his car, and just when it seems like he's about to drive off, he drives his car right up to the garage, climbs on top of his car so that he can get up to a height to peer through the garage windows, and as he's balancing and peering through the window, he's shining a flashlight through. And according to the officer's police report, he says he very quickly sees a woman lying on the garage floor, and she is very clearly not moving.
I got a female down.
He says he quickly gathers the woman is very close to the steps that lead into the house. So she's not close to the garage door that slides up and down. She's close to the door that goes into the house. She has a winter coat on, the hood is pulled over her head, but her face is showing, so she's lying on her back, and she's really, really still. He immediately radios in 151, send medical, and 110, I need a forced entry, I got a female down in the garage. He runs to the front, kicks open the front door, books it to the garage. He's not even clearing the house. He doesn't know if somebody else is in the house. The first words to come out of his mouth when he opens that garage door is, holy shit, shit, holy shit. And it sounds like he's trying to calm himself down from the panic.
Oh, shit.
That's concerning.
Holy shit.
According to the report, I noted a significant amount of blood, which appeared to be fresh, noted by the bright red color. The blood is running down the wall, and the woman's head is about 2 feet away from the wall, so there seems to be some sort of blood splatter or a traumatic event enough that blood would end up on the wall. There's more blood underneath her head. According to the report, he says he very quickly sees that she's clearly not moving, and he gathers, okay, so she's close to the steps, and there's blood on the wall, there's blood on her. It seems like she probably might not be alive. This is a life-threatening, fatal amount of blood. He's calling for backup, he's calling for paramedics, he's administering CPR, and he's trying to gather as much information as possible. Initially, he realizes that there's trauma near her right temple, but because of all of the victim's hair, he can't make out what is causing the bleeding. He just knows that she's bleeding. It could have been a fall. Her neck is kind of slanted to the left. It could indicate a broken neck. It also could have been from a small caliber weapon, but he can't be sure. So if it was like not a small caliber weapon, it probably would have left a certain type of fragmentation to the head that he would have been able to quickly identify. So he's so unclear about what even caused this. All he knows is he's not picking up a pulse. He opens the big garage door that leads out into the driveway because he just got radioed in that paramedics are about to pull up. So he wants them to have direct access into the garage because every second is life or death. He opens the big garage doors, and instead of uniformed officers or medics, there's an older woman softly walking towards the opening of the door, and she catches him performing CPR. She catches a glimpse of someone laying on the garage floor covered in blood, and his report reads, "It appeared to me the woman was either a neighbor or a relative. She was visibly upset, clearly seeing me perform CPR. I quickly asked the woman to stay away from the garage, knowing other officers were coming into the area. I requested via radio that they contact this woman and escort her from the garage."
Hello, ma'am. I need you to stay out, please. Next to you today, and interrupt this apparent relative that's on scene, please.
It seems like she's freaking out. There's multiple angles of this, of the older woman walking up to the garage, but it seems like she takes a step back and then she wants to go forward, but then probably her logic is like, no, let the police officer do the medical help. You're not going to be helpful. So then she eventually walks down away from the garage door down the driveway.
How old is this woman?
I would say maybe 60s, 70s.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is a family member who just walked in at the precise time that her loved one is on the floor, on the garage floor, covered in blood, and an officer is performing CPR.
Yeah. Does she see exactly who's down there?
Yeah. And it's not an accident, and it's not a coincidence. All of this was planned. Even her showing up at that exact moment was planned by somebody else. She's escorted away from the garage, and all the backup officers arrive at the scene. Paramedics rush in, and they realize it's not a head wound that they're working with. I mean, she does have a head wound, but that's not the only thing. Under her thick winter coat, there's one mark, and she has been stabbed near the heart. Who would want someone in the Krug family dead? And does this have anything to do with the break-in that happened 82 days ago? Act 2 of a fictional story usually is the confrontation. It's the structured escalation. It's kind of the why. Why are we even talking about any of this? 35 days before the murder, there is a text message sent to Christelle Krug. Christelle is the mother of 3 and the wife of Daniel Krug. So 82 days before the murder, Daniel Krug calls the police and is like, hey, I just saw some guy break into our house and I talked to my wife and we realized the only thing stolen was our spare key.
I saw someone, I think it was a guy, but it was so fast.
Yeah.
Blue jeans, gray shirt, run out, jump over my gate, and take off that way. Everything seems to be there.
Okay.
Except a spare key.
The house key. Okay.
35 days before the murder, so this is after the break-in. Christelle Krug gets a text message. Saw you at dentist. I like clean teeth for my COCK.
Oh, Lord. Jesus. Okay. There's something extremely weird and suspicious about the fact that someone knew exactly where their spare key was. In the garage, mind you, not like under the mattress at the entrance of the house or under the flower pot or whatever. And this is not like it doesn't seem to be a dangerous neighborhood.
You got me so horny and slutty in my car, so I nutted on yours. See you soon. Christelle is like the dentist. How would anybody know that she's at the dentist? Christelle checks her car for a tracker or anything else, and there's nothing. I mean, she hasn't posted on social media. She's barely online these days. She values privacy over everything else since the stalking started. She took down all her personal photos, family photos. How would they even know that she's at the dentist?
This is a stalker.
Yeah.
And this is not the first message?
No. She's been getting messages all month long.
He said he nutted on hers?
Yes, on her car.
On her
but
car.
This is the first time the stalker is like, I saw you at the dentist at this time. And she knows there's no way. It's not even just a message of like, you know, the stalker was saying all things like, I'm going to kidnap you. You should leave your husband for me. But now it's very specific. I saw you at the dentist.
Was she?
Yeah. And the dentist plaza has like a ton of other businesses in the same plaza. So if someone even just tracked her phone, it would be unclear which business or establishment she's visiting. How would they know specifically she went to the dentist that day unless they're tracking her car or they're watching her in person? Then another message. He doesn't deserve you. You know it. He doesn't satisfy you. That's why you keep all your fuckboys on the side. You're a dirty slut and I know how to satisfy you. Admit that no one satisfied you since me. I see you flirting with waiters, almost begging for sex, licking your lips, and you got your boobs out. Don't know how many fucking boys you kept, but I'll save you. I know he's keeping us apart. You don't belong in that big house. You belong with me. I'll get rid of him and then we can be together. So easy. The stalker sends another message. They have random security. They let me park and walk right into his building. Been there for weeks. Give me the signal and he won't come home. Every married bitch I ever banged wanted to get rid of their husbands. I'll do it for us. Help me get rid of him and then we can be together, just like you want. I'm planning a big birthday party for you. Just you, me, and 20 friends. I know you're a dirty slut and I'll treat you right. You can be slutty with me and I'll take you. You don't want the fake married life. You want to be dirty and I will save you.
So these are all sent like separate times?
Yeah. Halloween is probably the scariest message to date. It's a picture of Christelle's husband, Daniel, while he's leaving work. This your husband? Drives like slow old lady. Can't believe you want to suck his dick, but not mine. He needs to drive safe. Don't want to clear rubber hose in his tailpipe, does he?
What exactly is the photo like?
It's of Daniel getting out of his car going into the work.
How far? Is it very close by?
Really close. It's like if someone were to park nose in and then I were to drive right by and take a picture out my window. It's not from 5 parking spaces away. It's like if you're at a Trader Joe's and you're driving by one of the parked cars and you just stick your hand towards the passenger seat and take a photo.
What was like the first message though that she received? Are you going to go over that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, whoever the stalker is, they're now following the entire family. But how? It's like they have eyes and ears everywhere. How do you follow an entire 5-person family? 4 days later, a picture of a man's private parts come in with the question, what do you think? It's only escalating. And this all started October 2nd, 2023. So the break-in happens earlier than this, but the very first message comes in October 2nd, 2023. Christelle gets this. It's, "Hi, Christelle. It's Anthony. Hope it's okay I looked you up. I go to Boulder, Colorado, every few weeks, and I thought we could hook up." Christelle doesn't respond, mainly because it's like a really odd message from an old friend of hers. It's her old high school boyfriend. Christelle is now married. She has 3 kids. One of them, I think, is in high school now.
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah, who's thinking about their high school boyfriend from decades ago? It's not like they have the same circle of friends either. He knows she married a guy named Krug and they have 3 kids together. Why would she even meet up with him? They haven't even spoken in so long. But the next day, another message. "Are you there? You should say yes when I offer a pity fuck. Whatever. Saw your pictures, you got fat, but your loser husband won't fuck your fat. Just, you should kill yourself."
This reminds me of that case of the mother who was like bullying her own daughter for 2 years, talking disgustingly sexual things to her own fucking daughter, saying how she wanted to like be creamed pie or whatever by her fucking 13 or 14 years old boyfriend. This woman should have been put on a list, but that's beside the point. Yikes. What? Ugh, I hate people.
That just second day?
Yeah. But it's not just text messages. Emails are coming in. "Your license plate expired. Gotta fix that." She checks. Her license plate is expired. "You and your husband down to Eiffel Tower?" Then the dentist messages, and Christelle starts feeling rightfully paranoid. But there's also nothing that indicates that somebody is following her. I mean, she's been tracking what cars have been on the street outside her house. All normal cars that always pass by, nothing abnormal. I would imagine that there's more than one exit out of the neighborhood, so if Christelle switches it up each time, then how would he even follow her out? Christelle calls an officer to the house to check out her car. There's nothing. There's no tracker. There's nothing. But they can't even do anything, even though every day there's a new message. If it's not from the stalker, it's from somebody else. Like a text message from someone else, seemingly unrelated. "Hi, saw your post on Ion Canto. Are you still looking for some men to join you?" So I guess it's like a
group text.
Yeah. Christelle responds, "Can you tell me which ad this was for? About you wanting a train? I believe someone may have taken out an ad with my number. Could you share the link or the title of the ad, please?" No response.
Oh.
Wow.
The entire Krug family has this heightened sense of anxiety about all of this. I mean, the pictures, the stalking, the threats, it's just starting to become overwhelming. They try to track down the number sending the messages. It only leads them to other dead ends, and the stalker keeps switching numbers. Sometimes the messages would have thinly laced threats of kidnapping Christelle, killing Daniel. This seemingly very normal suburban family, the Krugs, they start changing their entire lifestyles. They have lockdown protocols in the house. They're installing cameras outside around the house. Christelle is getting a concealed carry license. She's learning how to shoot guns. Daniel, the husband, he's freaking out. Daniel's kind of a geeky guy. He's the type at work where if he has his work credentials on a tag that he clips onto a backpack, he will do these elaborate swirls in front of like the key card readers to hit his backpack on it rather than get like a retractable lanyard of some sort. And this is not like me trying to give you an analogy of his personality. I literally saw him do this. So it's like, that's what he does. That's the type of kind of geeky energy that he has.
What does he do?
He works for the Department of Public Health for accounting.
He's an accountant?
Yeah, for the government. During an interview with the police, because Christelle and Daniel have talked to the police frequently about this stalker.
And what does she do?
She is a bioengineer, but I believe that she is a full-time mom at this point. She was focused on engineering. Everyone that has spoken about Christelle says she was just like whip smart. So smart. Yeah. And like even the way that, because we FOIA had requested this case, the way that she was able to log each of the stalker's messages, I mean, she was methodical about it. She did not play games. She would have these ways of calming herself down. Even when she talks to Detective Martinez, which is the officer that's helping her with catching the stalker, she even tells him, like, she has folders. She's presenting all the evidence to him. And she's telling him, I know the whole point is to freak me out. So I'm trying to keep that in mind.
So she's like logging all of these. So the police saying there's nothing they could do about this?
The police have put out warrants for these cell phone companies to get extra data. But these cell phone companies, they're very sensitive about giving out any sort of information until it's too late.
Is it like a known caller or is it a fake number?
Yeah, it's like text now numbers where you can generate like a Google number.
Right.
And then if you give a warrant to Google, they're going to stall until maybe somebody's dead. Then you can get an expedited warrant to catch a killer. But at that point, it's kind of too late.
Yeah.
During an interview with the police, Daniel is just saying like,
I went to the grocery store briefly on Tuesday, and someone behind me dropped a can, and I panicked. So what am I doing? I'm panicking, and I'm doing a job of protecting my wife.
it just seems like this whole family is falling apart because of this stalker. Christelle, on the other hand, she's not putting up with this. She's ready to go to war for her safety, as she should. She gets the meeting with Martinez. Martinez even says she came into the interview room and just kind of took over and just told me everything. Like, this is what's happening. She's bringing out papers, files, documents. She got a full-blown report from the PI.
The first message saying this is from Anthony, right?
Yeah.
That's the first person of interest. And
yes. And she got a PI to track all of his addresses, all of his associated phone numbers, but they keep moving from different parts of the state. She's handing this all to the police, all of this.
Wait,
and she's like, this is my ex-boyfriend from high school. This is his name. I think this is his current address. Officer Martinez opted not to go talk to Anthony because his problem was there's not enough to arrest him. So if they go and talk to him without arresting him, that could set him off.
okay, what
So
else?
they need to gather more information. They need to wait for these phone companies to come in with the data to have enough evidence to arrest him. So Officer Martinez is like, I mean, I could go talk to him, but if I don't have that evidence, I can't arrest him. So we don't know what he's going to do after we stop talking to him.
Because that they only have a message saying that's his name, but there's not evidence linking it
Yes.
to his number.
Yeah. So they have a message saying, hi, it's Anthony, and then all these crazy messages. And then a PI who separately finds Anthony's home address.
Right.
There's no evidence to say that that is Anthony. Anyone could send a message and say, hey, it's Stephanie Soo, but like you have no evidence that it's Stephanie Soo, right? So he's like, I could go talk to him, but if it is Anthony, that could set him off.
Right.
Like he could go crazy after that, and I don't know if that's a good risk. Do I agree with that kind of sentiment? I don't know, but that's how the laws are. So I would say blame the laws more than Officer Martinez. I don't know, maybe I'm too personally invested. There's a lot of body cam footage, and there's a lot of footage of people, family members rightfully initially being upset with Officer Martinez, but later all of Christelle's family have come out, and it seems like Officer Martinez took it very hard. So we'll get into it, but because the way the laws are set up, it's not like Martinez doesn't want to go and talk to him. It's not like he's being lazy. It's more so, I can't even arrest the guy.
And I keep trying to remind myself, this is intending to be terrorizing. This is intending to scare me. So, okay, take a deep breath. Take it back. Yeah.
Christelle tells her family members, it's either going to be me or him that's dead. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure it's not me. If this were a fictional story, which it's not, and again, the only reason we're comparing it to one is because there's somebody in this case that thinks that this is going to play out just like the movies, is going to be this theatrical, beautiful, cinematic ending, and it's not. But Act 3 is the resolution. It's typically where everything collides together, the clues start clicking into place, the story's central question is answered, usually who did it and why. At the Krug house, backup officers, paramedics have all arrived, but it is too late for Christelle Krug. She's dead. She's been killed. Someone stabbed her in the heart in her own garage. One by one, all the family members are arriving to the house. Christelle's mother was the one that saw when the garage first opened.
That was her own mom outside?
Yeah, that was Christelle's mother, and she is now being comforted on the street by the neighbor in the puffer coat. Nobody knows if Christelle is dead yet. The officers don't want to tell the family members until everybody's gathered. Christelle's dad, Lars, arrives. Christelle's brother, Lars Jr., arrives. Her sister-in-law, Kate, arrives. The last person that they need to wait for is Christelle's husband, Daniel. Thankfully, all the kids are in school. The police don't want to tell anyone until they're all gathered. Daniel's the last to arrive, and he parks further away because there's cop cars all surrounding the house. He runs up to the cops. They're telling him, back up. Under no circumstances are you going into that garage right now.
My house. Hey, stay back, stay back, stay back, stay back. This is my house. I understand.
He freaks out. They tell him family's on the side. He books it to the family. Nobody's giving him information. Finally, an officer walks over and lets them know that she's gone. Daniel's on the ground. He's on his knees. He's sobbing. Even Christelle's mom is comforting him because There's just a lot of guilt coming in. Daniel is hyperventilating, saying things like, I didn't protect her. I was supposed to protect her.
I was supposed to protect her.
Christiel's autopsy states that she was attacked from behind with a blunt object, bludgeoned in the head, rolled over before being stabbed in the heart.
Jesus.
All everyone knows is, unless the police catch this guy, Daniel Krug is probably next. And if this were a fictional story, if this played out like the movies, this is where the resolution would come in. They would all find the guy, Anthony, the guy that's texting and stalking Christiel. They would arrest him and all the questions would get answered. Anthony's a bad guy. He'll get what's coming to him. The story isn't happy at the end because how is it going to be happy? But you get to see Anthony rot in jail. But this is not like the movies or the books. I mean, this is real life. It never happens that way. Through the body cam footage of the officers at the Krug's house, there's this one part where all the officers are pulled to the side, away from the family members, away from the neighbors. And one of the officers tells the others,
Yeah, I don't know the backstory. Husband said there was a dude who's been stalking her and threatened to kidnap her.
Where's this
and
dude
Martinez
from?
was involved, and Martinez just said, hey, this is a
Jim
big
or
old...
something?
I don't know, dude. I don't know the history on that part. Martinez does, though, and he said he's coming in. So, like I told him, you can see if Butler needs photos with this big old house. Other than that, we're just kind of securing the scene and waiting for detectives, you know?
they all point to the blue piece of tape. So over the Google Nest camera on the front door, there's a blue piece of tape covering the camera.
It's like a Ring camera, right?
Yeah, and they just covered someone came and covered it with blue tape. And the cop is like, did you do that? The guy's like, no. So they're like, that's interesting. It's really interesting. The officer that first arrived at the scene, obviously adrenaline was rushing once he saw a woman down in the garage, but he said that when he kicked the front door, he didn't feel a lot of resistance. He doesn't think that it was dead bolted. Like maybe there was a lock, like the bottom lock, but it wasn't dead bolted. Maybe just the handle was locked. But the most interesting conversation the police have, away from the ears of family members and neighbors, is that this is still an active investigation. We're going to treat every single person here as a potential suspect.
Okay.
That night at the police station, Daniel, Christiel's husband, is about to leave after answering questions, along with the rest of Christiel's family. So they're all coming in for interviews. And he turns, and before he leaves the police station, he stops in the police lobby, and he's talking to one of the officers, and he says,
He took my children's mother for Christmas. They're never gonna get out of it. I don't care if you capture them. I don't care if you kill them. Find them. Don't just assume it's me. Keep looking.
What do you...
Don't just assume it's me?
Yeah, what do you mean, assume it's me? Daniel is Christiel's husband. Daniel says so himself. I've seen the movies. It's always the husband, isn't it?
True.
But
I mean, he's
you
not
need
wrong,
to find
but...
him.
It's
Inside the Krug house near one of the action plans, in case the stalking escalates, there's a tiny little post-it sticking to a bookshelf, and it reads, "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. If you stare long enough into the abyss will gaze back into you." Nietzsche.
Handwritten?
Handwritten. What does any of this mean? Informing the adults of the Krug family of Christiel's murder is one thing. To inform her 3 kids is a totally different situation. And this happens to be one of the... Okay, like I could... Sometimes words are very bland. I feel like the words heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, horrendous, heinous, they're all pretty empty at this point. I think it's just so shitty. I believe it's the eldest daughter. She's in high school, and she already knows that something is wrong before police and family members come to pull her out of school. She's in the guidance counselor's office when the first officer shows up, and she's explaining like she saw a lot happen through her phone because this family has been stalked. They likely all have access to the phone cameras, and she's like in high school, so definitely she does, and they're probably all alert, watching for any suspicious activity, and she's crying, and she says,
"My phone notified me of my house cameras going off. There was police at my house."
There was police at the house and an ambulance, and there was a stretcher. I couldn't bring myself to see who was on the stretcher, so I called mom and dad. My dad picked up, and he's crying, and he like wouldn't tell me what's going on. He told me to shut off my phone, and my aunt is coming here to pick me up. So the officer is trying to gather intel, because the officer knows everything that's happened too.
What has been going on at home?
So this dude has been threatening my mom, stalking her, taking photos of my dad, saying that he's gonna kill him. Do we know who this person is? One of her exes, I don't know his name. Like an ex-boyfriend? Yeah. And they broke up a while ago. They ended it as friends, so this has all come as like a really big shock to my mom. But she mentions to the police officer, he's been contacting her from different numbers, sending pictures of my dad, saying that he's gonna kill him. He hasn't mentioned anything about me and my siblings yet, which is good. He posted something to a website trying to recruit guys to help him with whatever plan he's going, and he's been contacting my mom through all of this. And so my mom has contacted the police, and she has like a whole bunch of people on this case. But the thing is, he's making it sound like she's helping him and she's not. So we're really afraid that the police are going to turn on us. So she's been trying to protect herself. So she has a gun, and she's in the process of getting her concealed carry license so that she can protect herself and us.
Wait, what do you mean he's making it look like she's cooperating? Like what? I'm very confused right now. What does she mean by that?
And then, yeah, when I saw the camera, I assumed that she would have to use that gun. She tells the officers that my parents don't have the best relationship. It's not violent whatsoever. They just haven't been getting along. They won't get a divorce. They say it's for the children, it's best for us, but at least I know their marriage isn't doing the best. Like, it's never bad enough for her to pair up with this guy. So she's explaining the stalker is making it seem like Christelle and the stalker are gonna kill Daniel so that they can run off together. And this little girl, like the daughter, is like, that's not, like, I'm telling you, like, my mom would never do that, please.
Right. So she is kind of thinking that the mom was self-defending her, like,
yeah, and maybe killed the stalker.
Whoa.
Throughout this, she's breaking down, and because in the FOIA request, it's all blurred, thankfully, but you actually see the moment when the kids are told. I'm not going to include it. But I think it's important to know it's like a very heavy moment, because all of this the importance of that comes full circle later. There's almost this speculation, from the daughter at least, that the stalker was trying to kill the dad and make it seem like the mom was part of it, trying to frame the mom. Whoever's out there stalking Christelle, it is not their first time. It's not their first time creating multiple identities and creating multiple phone numbers and changing their locations just so they could stalk a woman. And there is a lot of potentials to debate here. The messages showed that the stalker would have an idea of what their end result was going to be, and then completely change their mind and then think about something else. At first, they want to kidnap Christelle and likely hold her captive. There are messages of kidnapping her and then the stalker believing that Christelle would finally be happy with him. Or if that's too hard, they could just kill Christelle. Maybe that's the better plan. Or how about they kill Daniel, Christelle's husband, and frame Christelle for it? That way Christelle won't have anyone. She'll have to come to him, her stalker, right? A nationwide arrest warrant is put out for Anthony, the ex-boyfriend, the stalker. And while they're looking for him, a woman named Carrie is brought into the police station. She explains the same exact thing happened to her during her breakup. I mean, this was a long time ago. So this was when she was in college. So like 15 years ago. And she says, I broke up with him a couple months into my freshman year, and he was pretty emotional. I would say sort of desperation would maybe be the word I would use to describe him after the breakup. Of just kind of like, please don't do this, kind of crying, that sort of thing that I can recall. And then I started to get messages from his roommate. That person's name is Tom. And she starts getting these messages and quote, and I know Tom is real because they're roommates. If I called him, sometimes Tom would pick up the phone, and they had like a joint phone and a joint room. She says that Tom would message her talking about how her ex wasn't doing well because of the breakup and maybe was gonna be injured. But then turns out Tom isn't Tom. I mean, Tom is real, but Carrie says Tom's messages were being sent by her ex-boyfriend to try and push her closer to her ex again. They're not from the real Tom. They're not from the real roommate. The stalker also created other identities to try and separate her and isolate her from her friends. It kind of ruined her entire college life. Ultimately, all the leads led back to a public library. Even though she and one of the officers that she was working with, I mean, they knew who it was the ex-boyfriend, they just didn't have enough evidence to get him. And so the police were like, okay, and your ex-boyfriend is Daniel Krug.
Damn.
Like, what an idiot I feel like I was after all of this. Because, like you said, you can read through all this and go, well, duh, it's Dan, but when you're in it, you just become so, like, almost crazed by it. You don't know who it is or...
So this lady, Carrie, right? She showed up by herself, or was she...
Police brought her in Daniel's sealed records. There was an incident between her and him in college. And the police are like, what are the odds that Christelle was being stalked and Daniel has an ex-girlfriend from college that was stalked by Daniel?
Oh, she was stalked.
Yeah.
She wasn't just...
No. She got these threatening messages, weird messages from all sorts of people that were not the people they claimed to be.
From decades ago. That's
Yeah.
Wow. Now, the police, did they suspect him from the get-go, or was it... Well, how did they even go down that path?
They suspected him the minute that he came into the police station. Because it's like the movies. Have you ever waited for an item that you thought you bought online, but then it never comes? Every time a package was delivered, I would rip it open and then I'd be shocked. I'd be like, what? Why is this not here? To the point where I would go back to my email, try to figure out, hunt it down. Why hasn't it been shipped? Turns out I never bought it in the first place. I just had it in my cart and I had been thinking about it so much that I tricked my brain into thinking that I bought it, which made me think, I wonder how many customers this is happening to and how many businesses this is happening to, which is why I will forever be obsessed and not stop talking about Shopify. For a limited time, we had a collection of Grandpa Mango's art for sale online, and Shopify was like the secret formula to launching our small business. The purple shop button is the secret ingredient. It's just one tap at checkout. You don't have to dig through your purse and your wallet for your card. You don't have to re-enter your addresses. It's the kind of thing that once you have it, you cannot imagine going back. Shopify's Shop Pay is trusted by millions of merchants across the globe, and it's the single biggest reason Shopify has the best converting checkout experience on earth. Shop Pay removes the friction that kills sales at the finish line. See less carts go abandoned and more sales with Shopify and their Shop Pay button. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/rotten. Go to shopify.com/rotten. That's shopify.com/rotten. A few weeks back, a family friend was rear-ended. She kept hesitating about calling a lawyer because she didn't want to seem like she was making a big deal out of nothing. But here's the thing. If you've been injured in an accident, you should not let assumptions prevent you from...
I'm sorry.
This is a paid advertisement.
That's great. The same ad. Oh no, I'm dumb. That the other one was in the previous video.
A lot of people will tell you that the smartest murder is the one that you have never heard of yet, because that's the whole point. It goes undetected. But a lot of people have been calling this case the smartest, most calculated murder in recent history. The months of planning, creating fake identities, using fake phone numbers, IP addresses, buying multiple gift cards, and it all falls apart with the acting. It's like a B-grade movie. It's like the type of dialogue that you really only read in a book. Daniel Krug thinks that the police are onto him. He thinks that they're just trying to look at him as the suspect. I mean, yeah, they're still trying to find Anthony, the ex-boyfriend, but they've also just spent hours interviewing Daniel after Christelle's body was found. Hours. All the other family members were let out early. Why is Daniel the only one staying behind? They're asking him in-depth questions that can only point to them being suspicious of him, and when they finally let him go at the end of the night, Daniel's about to leave the police station, and he turns to the officers and he says,
I want me to find who did this. Because I know it. You don't believe that? Fine. Just don't stop looking elsewhere. Focus on me. Okay? I'm the f***er who did this. Are you married? You have kids? Divorced? Right behind you. I don't care if you capture him. I just want the f***er to pay. He took my children's mother for Christmas. They're never gonna get over that.
And with that, he walks out of the police station. It's like straight out of a James Patterson novel. Nobody talks like that in person. Nobody whispers like that in person. It's very odd. I also think that we as people recently have given too much grace to the phrase everyone responds to grief differently. It's true. I think it's very true. But some things, if they are sending your radars off, if your gut is saying, okay, this is so bizarre, it's not even just like, oh, I probably wouldn't behave like that if I were grieving, but like, wow, I'm so shocked and thrown off by this. I don't think that we should all just chalk it up to, well, everyone responds to grief differently. The police have a theory now. The way that Daniel has been talking, the things that family members have told them, they believe that Christelle wanted to divorce Daniel, and Daniel decides he's going to pretend to be a stalker to drive his wife straight back into his arms. This will be the catalyst that brings them closer together. This is what they need to reconnect.
These are theories from the families?
The police,
the police,
gathering from all the interviews that they had with family members. December 5th, 2023, Christelle gets an email. Hey, gorgeous. I can't visit you anymore. No more Colorado time. My girlfriend doesn't want us talking without her. She says you're gonna let cops get after me after you off him, but she doesn't know you like I do. We got a new place with lots of room on the East Coast. She said you can move in with us. We like 3 ways. Trash your husband and come. You know how to get me when he's dead. I mean, it's kind of a nonsensical email, but ultimately, it kind of seems like the stalker is gonna lay off. He's saying, like, I'm moving to the East Coast. I don't have time to go to Colorado. I mean, this is what Christelle thought. But 9 days later, Christelle is dead. And that's what the police can't wrap their heads around. If Daniel is the stalker, let's say hypothetically he is, why would he send this message saying, hey, I'm not going to come to Colorado anymore? And then why would he kill her at the end? Because they thought maybe Daniel's sending these messages to get his wife closer to him. So if Daniel's the stalker, why would he say, like, hey, I'm the stalker, I'm going to lay off? Because that would indicate the relationship is going well then. Maybe Daniel's like, oh, she's already so close to me now. I don't need to keep stalking her. We've, like, fixed our problems. In the FOIA request, we got a ton of videos where Daniel is sitting in front of a white cinder block wall, and he's got a phone up to his ear, and he's staring at the screen with his parents on there.
Have you ever gotten, like, jailhouse calls with the families?
Calls, like sometimes audios. You'll get random audios, but really they don't like to give these out.
How many hours of that did you get?
I think overall we had hundreds of videos because there were a lot of officers at the scene of the crime and every single thing was body cammed. I mean, there's a lot of body cam video that ultimately we would sit through and then it would be like a 1-minute conversation at the end between an officer and a neighbor and the officer is just like, drive around. This is taped off, drive around. I think it was like 100 jail call videos.
Dang, okay.
It was a lot. And a lot of them is like just yapping. A lot of them is weird. And Daniel is sitting in jail. He's about to go on trial for murdering his wife. And he's telling his family, I didn't do this. The stalker is still out there and they put the wrong guy in jail because they think it's like the movies and it's always the husband and it's not me and my kids are not safe. He's ranting. He's worried about his kids. He's adamant that someone else killed Christelle. And just like how her stalker wanted to set her up for his potential murder, he believes that the stalker set him up for her murder. And nobody's listening to him. So now Christelle is gone. He's sitting in jail for something he says he didn't do, but nobody's listening. And his 3 kids are out there and he's pleading with his elderly parents, I need them safe.
I don't know where or who did this, where he is or who he is. I need my children out of Colorado.
He's also concerned about Stockholm Syndrome. The kids are staying with family members on Christelle's side of the family and he says,
But now we're back to my original fear of Stockholm Syndrome. I do not know what she has been told. I do not know what she believes. I do not know if my children even want me anymore.
Did he say Stockholm Syndrome or?
Yeah.
Like
did,
what in what context?
Like they're gonna get Stockholm Syndrome with Christelle's side of the family and just believe whatever they're saying. And Christelle's side of the family thinks that he's the stalker. And he's like, no one believes me that I'm being set up. He's like, I'm probably sleeping like 16 hours a day because of the depression. I sleep, I read, I cry, and that's about it. And there's obviously frustration too. He says,
I don't understand how you can put in a claim for wrongful arrest, wrongful imprisonment if you have to wait for everything to be settled.
So he's like, I can't even file a claim for wrongful arrest until after the trial.
We are in a digital and monitored age. They never produced a single photograph of me with phones. They never produced a single photograph of me buying anything. They never produced a single piece of hard evidence. Just identity theft. That's it. That's it. And we're in a world today where that's enough. DNA exoneration doesn't mean shit.
DNA.
Because someone can do things with a cell phone. Not a single photograph, not a single drop of blood, not a single scrap of DNA, not a single recording. Identity theft is all it takes to destroy somebody.
So he's claiming someone stole his identity to do this.
Daniel's parents are completely supporting him and they agree with him, but they're also concerned about him sitting in jail. He says about the food that he eats a lot of ramen because, quote, if you ever find yourself watching TV and you see a cat food commercial, we look at those commercials here with a sense of longing. The collective decision here is that food commercials should be banned in jails and prisons because even horrible food, I would never eat Taco Bell, ever. It's disgusting. And yet I see ads for it and I'm like, that looks really good. It's clear the pressure is getting to Daniel, though. On the phone with his parents, Daniel gets emotionally charged because he's in jail and he doesn't know where his collection of valuable coins and medals are. Apparently, Daniel's mom spoke with Christile's family about it and they didn't know it either, where it went, and Daniel explodes.
So that tells me that they are going through the house and they're not supposed to. They were supposed to give a written list. No. You call, you text, whatever. They are not to have unrestricted access to whatever the fuck they want. And no. But what that tells me is they're sifting through everything and they're looking for whatever is of value because fuck you, Dan, because they don't want me in that life. And that's not fair.
Okay, honey. Okay.
They don't get to treat me like this.
No,
That's all I do. That's all I do. I'm the one who has to accommodate everything. They want to sell the house? Fine. I have to sell the house. They don't want to let me speak to my kids? Fine. I'm not allowed to speak to my kids. I get fucking nothing.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Sorry. I don't mean to make you cry.
I just wanted to hear my arms and hug you.
And mom is like, I wish I could make it all go away, Danny.
Poor woman. She doesn't
Wait,
know.
this is so weird.
Yeah.
Is this giving like a movie? Does he talk like a toddler or what's?
He talks so weird. There's only like one person I can think of that talks like that. In a time, kind of like, huh? It doesn't even make sense why you're being so theatrical. Like, grief is one thing. Theatrical is kind of weird right now. Like, it's
so he's like angry, but in a very theatrical way.
Yeah, it's
like that.
Yeah, it's like no.
Interesting.
And he takes a lot of pauses at really weird moments. I mean, I talk pretty dramatic, and I think that I might be even more dramatic when my emotions are high. But the way he does it is not like a sense of dramatic franticness of like, I'm freaking out, so I'm going to freak out. It's like very like pauses and almost like there's an audience.
Maybe like he's trying to hold it back.
But it doesn't feel
because
like
he
that
can't
either.
scream in there. Maybe he can't throw a tantrum in there, so he's like holding it down to.
But that's alarming too.
Yeah. Okay.
How are the kids? Daniel's asking. They were fine. They look good. They're keeping busy. But he just keeps getting angry at the thought because he comes back to it again where he thinks Christile's family members are taking things of value from the house, and he says,
And I want a complete list of absolutely everything, because if I find out they're parsing out things among different family members, I'm going to be pissed.
Okay.
I want people arrested for stealing things from my wife's estate.
His mom assures him that she took the jewelry box in his closet with his cufflinks, and Daniel asks his mom, did you find Grandma's ring? No.
Then they stole it.
Danny, please.
It was with my cufflinks. And then I have to find out what pawn shop they're getting rid of all of my shit.
It's so weird. What's going on? You have a lot more things to worry about right now.
Your
Listen,
wife is dead.
okay, so
Like, does he believe he's getting out tomorrow?
Yeah, and okay, all of these, like when you FOIA request it, they just put like jail call Oh, no, it wasn't even like jail call. It was like public release, da, 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 and there's like a bunch of numbers because that's how they, you know, log it in their format. And so every time I'd click one, I have no idea what I'm getting into. Sometimes it'd be like his mom being like, oh yeah, so the weather today, and we drove and like we made a snowman. And then the next one, he's like, they fucking stole it. And I'm like, every single one was so vastly different from the next one. Like you could have no idea what was going to happen in the next jail call. And then sometimes he's so composed and he's like, don't worry, guys, we have to be strong. And he's making jokes about Taco Bell. His mom keeps reassuring him, they're not taking your stuff. They're not taking your stuff. I wouldn't be too surprised if the police are listening to this call, if they stole my fucking ring, just like they stole my credit card information.
The police?
That's what he claims.
Okay.
As the murder trial is nearing, it's Daniel's brother who decides to tell him the truth. Daniel's brother is in a lot of these calls and he tells him, support is dwindling. Okay?
From the families?
Yeah.
Mom and Dad want to believe you very much. I want to believe you very much. We wish, we hope. And also, now there's not evidence that's been hidden, right? There's a lot that's come out. And as imaginative as I can be with finding explanations and ways to theorize how that, you know, this or that could have been the reality.
Did you see this case, by the way? And yes, I finally got some new light. Which allows me to stream these kind of videos again, because I did not have lights. And so for a while, also I have like a little controller for my lights now. I'm bougie. For a while, this was my light. Then I found some better lights, which would make it more like this. But this is not enough to do my makeup with. And now this is how I can actually see myself when I do my makeup. And that's why I can do this kind of stream again.
Some of it is beyond even my creativity.
Daniel doesn't really respond. And again later, on a private call just between Daniel and his brother, and now us and everyone else with a penchant for FOIA requesting cases, Daniel's brother tells him,
I want to believe in you. And at the same time, I will be totally honest. I, from the beginning, have not really ever cared one way or the other. I do not want to see you where you are. I do not want to see you where you're going, regardless of the situation and how it arrived. I don't want you there, and don't really care about guilt or culpability or anything like that.
So he's basically saying, like, you're my brother through and through, and that's how I've been since day one. However,
the situation got to where it got to. My concern now is your support is dwindling fast. The forensic stuff, the digital data is really tough for everybody to wrap their head around. Like I said, even I have to go through some fancy gymnastics to counter everything. It needs some story around where phones came from, where gift cards came from, whatever, whatever that may be. You don't have to tell me anything here. I realize that you can't say things on this line, so that's going to be how that is. But I figured I would tell you that. I'm not sure if you're going to get to talk to Mom and Dad again before they move you down into the purgatory spot, and then you're going to be there for a month. My main concern right now is Mom and Dad are on the brink of financial ruin and bankruptcy.
Oh boy.
They took out probably about 120 to 150K to pay legal fees, and none of that has been repaid to them.
Daniel's brother keeps telling him, and the brother is like, you keep complaining and being emotional about things with the parents, and the parents don't have resources, and they become emotional because you're emotional, so they take out loans, and they're about to get bankrupt, and they're about to lose their car and lose everything. And he's like, things like taking the kids out of Colorado because they're not safe, that's gonna be $100,000 in legal fees that we don't have the money for, and it's not gonna work, so just drop it.
Oh, I see.
He's like, don't even talk to Mom and Dad about it. because they're going to want to pull out a loan. They're going to want to try and help you. But I'm telling you, it's never going to happen no matter how much money you throw at it. There's also another moment in this very jail call, which I didn't want to interpret, but the brother, he says like, see, and I don't know if I'm dense and I'm dumb or something, but he says something along the lines of like, at some point, we're going to have a conversation. Will you just tell me yes or no?
Oh, wow.
And it was like so out of nowhere. And I'm like, are you going to ask him like a series of yes or no questions, right? Like, I don't know what that means. And then Daniel cuts in and he goes, yes. And then they hang up because the 17 minutes are over. Every call is like 17 minutes and 15 seconds.
In the future, we may need to communicate, you and I. I want you to look at me for a second, real close, and say, yes.
Yes.
No. Yes. And no. At some point in the future, we may need to interpret that thing as that.
What do you think?
I think
he's asking if you did it?
Yeah.
So that yes sounds like he's telling him yes, or he sounds like, okay, yes, I agree to that. Yes, we can do that phone call later. Or,
yeah.
So it's like can be interpreted in both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still sort of supporting him, or he's just kind of...
He's still supporting him.
From the energy that I get from the brother is he's supporting his brother, but I think it's more so out of support for his parents. I don't think that makes it any better.
Mm-hmm. And what's the parents... You think the parents is in denial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mom is totally in
are.
denial.
Like my son could never?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I also think that there are times in the phone calls where I'm like, ooh, like these are just... Like, I can see why he has these anger issues.
Yeah.
Because the way she's like, oh, I didn't mean to upset you. It's like, who cares about upsetting him? His whole life is about to go down like the shitter. Are you, like, we can talk as adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, you're too old. You got to get your emotions in check. Like, we can't all tiptoe and be worried about upsetting a grown man who's in jail about to go on trial for murdering his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of red flags in Daniel's story. But even just the way he talks about Christy Lynn the stalker, it's like straight out of a movie. Before his arrest, when he's being interviewed by officers, and these are all the things that are setting off the officers, they reference the stalker as the stalker. They're like, okay, so when did the stalking start? When did the stalker come into play? But Daniel, in the midst of his wife's murder investigation, he keeps correcting the officers. Oh, we call him Kickman. And he's always whispering. You call him what? The stalker. We call him Kickman. Okay, why do you guys call him Kickman? Because Christy was gonna kick his ass. Yeah.
Okay.
Kick man. That's what we call the stalker.
What?
It's a lot. The police just want to know what happened. They're gathering intel, and some of it is just not adding up, and his behavior is really weird. I would imagine any spouse in their right mind in the interrogation room or the interview room would be like, okay, let me break it down. This is the day that it started. This is what we have gathered. If you let me go into the house, or I can tell you we have logs of the stalking, like we just need to find this killer, instead of like, we call him Kickman. But the most interesting thing is, Daniel says that he first found out about the stalking in November. And this is when the police were like, wait, what? Hold on. Because Detective Martinez knows that the stalking started October 2nd.
Yeah.
Why would you not know for an entire month? The officer asks, why do you think the month gap before she told you?
I'm sure she has mentioned to you that she and I are going through a rough patch, kind of on the rocks. So probably didn't seem that pressing until it was.
So he's explaining that Christine didn't tell him about the stalking until a picture of him was sent to her. So now she's like, okay, well, your life is kind of on the line, and like maybe your safety.
What I want to know is, was he... Sorry, that's not funny, but like I just think about the photo that she received of him getting out of his car. Was he walking around with a tripod? Or he had an accomplice? I'm going for the tripod. And I'm sorry, the image of him setting up a tripod just to film himself getting out of a car so you can snapshot it. Wow. Wow.
She's at risk, so let me explain what's been going on for them.
I would say get a job, but he clearly already has one, which is crazy.
Past month. There were mentions, obviously, that Daniel and Christelle were not in the best part of their relationship, which a lot of parents raising 3 kids would say they've probably seen better days. But to not know that your wife is being stalked for an entire month, you have to be probably on not even speaking terms in order for this to happen. Even if she didn't think it was that serious for a month, she would have brought it up as like oh my God, something so weird happened today. How bad exactly was their relationship?
Right.
Christelle's parents are brought in hours after her murder to give formal interviews. They were all really close. Christelle and her dad would fix classic cars together, so they had this hobby that even as they grew up, she was always just in his garage. They have this like retro diner set up in one corner of his garage. And it just looks like a dream auto shop. She would sit down while they would take a break, and he explains that she did mention that she was being stalked by the ex-boyfriend from high school. And both Christelle's parents, they remember Anthony back from when they were dating. And they say he was always very friendly, very courteous, always had good manners. I mean, yeah, like it was in high school. Okay, people who knew them say their breakup was very high school. It wasn't even petty. They both worked at JCPenney. The whole breakup was because Christelle was very much into academia. Like, she had a strong vision for her outlook in life. Like, she wanted to pursue engineering in college. She wanted to go that route. Meanwhile, Anthony didn't really know if he even wanted to go to college. He was still figuring things out. So the way that Anthony even spoke about Christelle after they broke up, people said that Anthony spoke about her like she was his great first love. Naturally, he did reach out a few times over Facebook asking how she is. Nothing weird, but maybe he's upset that she never made any sort of advancement towards him, never wanted to see him, or maybe something big happened in his life and now he's turning on Christelle. But how can somebody go from being this kind-hearted, genuine person to a stalker? Or like maybe Christelle's parents didn't really know him. Christelle's mom is a bit more open with the detectives. She's distraught, she's holding it together, and she's telling the investigators everything they need.
Her life was hell these last months and last year. Her husband and her were not on good terms. He was in complete denial. She'd tell me how he was.
Did she ever give you insight on what kind of led her to feel like her marriage was over, or?
Dan is explosive, but I've never seen him, hurt her. He would hurt the kids, but, some people think the corporal punishment is okay with kids.
Like what, physical?
Probably, yeah.
Beating?
She was worried about that. But she told me he was in denial, that she told him that this marriage was over, but she would stay until redacted graduated. Just in my gut, I can't shake this feeling. And what is that feeling telling you?
I can't shake this question. Is he the one that's been doing this with Anthony?
This is like the first interview.
Yeah.
The mom who witnessed her daughter's death,
Yes.
she was comforting him at the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's saying that maybe they're working together.
Yeah. And it's just like a bunch of small things. It's not like a big, aha, we caught you. Just like weird. Even at a recent family birthday party, Daniel is out by the window the whole time in case the stalker is surveilling them in the neighborhood. But something about it just feels performative.
Wow.
It doesn't feel really anxious. It doesn't feel like, okay, I'm so stressed. It just feels like, look at me being a protector. Christelle's brother, he knows that the two of them, Christelle and Daniel, had been separated, but still living together mainly for the kids. He has a different take. He tells the authorities,
she was fully convinced that it was Anthony. My mom has always been suspicious, and I just don't know where that comes from.
Can you elaborate on that? Like, suspicious how, or?
My mom?
Yeah.
The difficulty finding Anthony. Like, why is it so hard to find Anthony? Why can't there, cell phone records or IP stuff? So my mom was very frustrated with the inability to locate one person who is so frequently contacting my sister. Mm-hmm. Like, why is that such a difficult thing to do? So my mom had that frustration, and so I think her mind starts to wander towards conspiracy type things, right? Of oh, maybe it's the husband, or maybe it's Dan, and I don't know. I don't see it there just because, I don't know, Dan just seems so incapable of doing something like that to me.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I talked to him, and he was very concerned about getting his family together and talking about being vigilant but not paranoid.
Other members of Christiel's family were interviewed, and one of them says something very interesting. He says that he never liked Dan from the first moment that he met Dan.
Who is this?
It's like I believe it's an uncle. And the officers are like, why? And he's like, there are 2 words I would describe. Slick politician. I don't trust a single thing he says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christiel's sister-in-law, Kate, is asked by the officers if there was something about the stalker, anything that she thought was notable, and she says,
I know that Christelle was like very concerned and worried about this guy, and I just always felt like it was like there was something weird about it, like, but I can't put my finger on it. I feel like she had said that it was like this Anthony guy, that it seemed very different than past behavior in him, like that he was never sexual in the past, and that these were like very like hyper things. And so I think even at one point she was like questioning whether it was actually him.
Daniel himself has told officers during his interview,
I had her as a partner to protect the family, but it didn't feel like a partner who valued me. I told her I didn't want to die for someone who didn't care about me anymore.
he said that he just wanted Christelle to say, I do care about you, but she didn't, and he was really hurt. Officers are finally able to locate the high school ex-boyfriend, Anthony, and he's 8 hours away in a different state, at home, on his couch, drunk. The officers tell him, I'm gonna ask you a couple of names and see if you recognize them, okay?
Have you ever heard of the name Crystal Krug? She may have been Grimsrod when you knew her.
Yeah.
And do you know a Daniel Krug?
No.
No? How do you know Crystal?
She was an ex-girlfriend.
She's an ex-girlfriend? How long's the ex? Like how long ago?
1999.
Oh, so like a long while ago.
She was my very first girlfriend ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When was the last time you talked to Crystal? Has it been a minute?
It's been a minute, yeah.
Like since you moved from Durango?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been what, back in 2014?
Yeah.
Have you had any contact with anybody in that area since? Anybody, or have they contacted you at any time?
No.
It's pretty clear that Anthony is at least appearing drunk and confused. He probably is drunk and confused, but what cannot be faked or confused is the fact that Anthony has an airtight alibi. That morning he had gone to Kohl's and bought a sweatshirt, and he's seen buying the sweatshirt and he has a receipt for it. And he's wearing that sweatshirt right now. And there's no way that he could have driven to kill Christelle, then driven back in time to buy the sweatshirt. There's also no way that he was on any sort of flight or Amtrak train, nothing. Which means unless he knows how to teleport, Anthony could not have killed Christelle Krug, just as police suspected. Which leads to Daniel being in the back of a police car, handcuffed, and an officer asking him, quote,
Hey Dan, do you want me to tell your kids that you killed their mother, or do you want somebody else to? Okay. All right.
Woo!
Good luck.
Straight to the point. Straight
That's really
to the
crazy
point.
to say. I mean, I guess they're arresting him for murder, right?
Yeah, I think, okay, I don't particularly think that the cops were doing like a spectacular job. I think that they were doing their job, what the taxpayers pay money for.
Danielle, the ex is a weirdo. I mean, the ex is clearly just... Like, that has nothing to do with him. I don't know him. We don't know him. Why is he day drinking? I don't know. He's a grown man. I don't really care. It's more like, yeah, like I feel like I don't even think that when they are questioning him that he's aware that she's dead. I feel like it doesn't give me the look of a man who know why he's being interrogated. So there's that. Yeah.
But I will say they seem very fed up with Daniel. I think it's all of his acting and all of his like, I was supposed to protect her.
I see.
Yeah.
Danielle, I feel like Danielle read too much Twilight fan fiction. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Daniel think he's Edward Cullen. And just because it was cute when we were reading the story back when we were 14 doesn't mean that that's, you know, cute IRL. This is the skin of a killer, Bella. Say it. What am I? And what do we eat? Oh my god, Twilight. The ways this fucking franchise had a chokehold on a portion of my teenagehood.
The hours leading up to Daniel's arrest are also very interesting. There's a few key moments that investigators are very suspicious about, aside from the physical and forensic evidence that they get later on. But the first one is, when Daniel is first called into the police station, he's in the interrogation room and Detective Martinez comes in, because Detective Martinez is the one that has been helping Christia with the stalker, aka Daniel. And Daniel is like hunched over on this blue couch and he's like,
I didn't protect her. It's not your fault. I was supposed to protect her.
Let me just go back a little bit. Let me just go back a little bit. I want to properly rate this acting. As an actress myself, I want to be able to, to see if I'm satisfied with this acting.
Detective Martinez comes in, because Detective Martinez is the one that has been helping Christia with the stalker, aka Daniel. And Daniel is like hunched over on this blue couch and he's like,
I didn't protect her. It's not your fault. I was supposed to protect her.
And Detective Martinez said that he was looking at Daniel and he realized he's sobbing, he's whispering, he's doing all these things, and not a single tear.
Bitch! So, in my personal opinion, I would say that he's like, if this was like a theater class, I would say I can see the emotion. I can halfway feel it, but I'm gonna need you to commit a little bit more because where are the tears, bitch? Like, you cannot get an award if you're supposed to cry and there's no tears. And I'm not talking about putting some eye drop in your eyes and shit. Like, real actor can actually produce real tears. Like, when they cry, it's because they can feel sad. They can feel the emotion that their character is supposed to be feeling, and that's why they cry. And that's why, again, award ceremony exists so that we can reward these actors for going through the trauma. Because a lot of time, let's acting some scene is literally psychological warfare. So, like, we give award to these people because, wow, you were so believable. I actually cried with you. You know what I mean? Like, that was so believable. I hated you. And that's what I want to feel when I look at it as a performance. And that's why I mean, well, the camera work is very bad quality too, which is obviously not helping. But there was like something missing. Yeah. I don't know. I needed tears. I needed commitment. He failed. But the lack of tears, that alone, jail. Because you clearly did not prepare yourself enough.
So he starts questioning Daniel, not even going after him, but just asking him normal questions one would expect. And Daniel constantly keeps his pitch at a whisper. It's always like, everything hurts. I don't feel anything.
I have two different voices going through my head right now. I have my brother Matthew. Yeah, I've mentioned him. He's the sheriff's lieutenant. And I have his voice saying, talk to the police.
Where's
and
your lawyer, boy?
Cop fashion, you married a prosecutor. So I have Lynn's voice in my head going, get a fucking lawyer.
Okay, so we don't know how long this whole interrogation was, but bitch, why is you laughing? I'm sorry, but like he didn't aid. This is an insult to the beautiful art that is theater and acting. Why is you fucking laughing? The lack of acting commitment is pissing me off. You went through doing the absolute most just to fail at the interview. You fumbled. You fumbled bad. Like if it would have been at least believable, I don't think it would be like I feel like the situation would have played differently, but because he's not acting good, now obviously the police is going to be locked in. They're going to like we don't need to overly investigate this when clearly the killer is standing in front of us laughing about having two voices in his head, one saying talk to the police, the other saying talk to my lawyer. Jail. Well, he was already going to jail for murder, but on top of the murder, the audacity, the lies, the bad acting. I'm sorry.
That is crazy. That his brother is a cop?
Not the one that he's on the phone with, I believe. That's a different brother.
Oh.
So his brother's a cop, his sister-in-law is a prosecutor, and I mean the fact that he mentions this very early on in the interrogation is definitely a very soft way of saying I might lawyer up whenever I want. So I would tread carefully is the vibe that he gives.
Or maybe he's trying to say, hey, I'm also, my brother is a cop too.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. And so he just has all these like weird moments. He also tries to hint that Christelle would be out of the house for a really long time. So he's like trying to make it seem like Christelle was suspicious. And I just want to say, and I say this every single time, if an investigator ever asks you, what do you think happened in this crime? Who do you think did it? I just want you to know that investigator thinks you did it. And Daniel is asked and he responds,
So in my brain, the story that I have is someone came to the door. Maybe she went outside to get a package, and they must have come in. She's a fighter. She's.
There was no sign of struggle though.
She would have fought.
and again, it's like the movies. It's like, that's not the question right now. Like you're trying to figure out who killed your wife. Why are you saying?
Do you think he used ChatGPT and that's why it's so bad? Because AI art doesn't exist, right? I feel like this is a AI-esque situation. And that, kid, is why you should not use AI. Well, that and environmental reason and ethical reason and whatnot.
Things like, she's a fighter. She would have fought. At one point, when the police are leading him out, he's like, I just need to know what to tell my kids. Did she fight? Because she's a fighter. Okay. Again, it's just bizarre. Who do you think killed her? I think it's Kickman. I think it's Anthony.
Kickman.
What if I told you that we had already spoken with Anthony and there's no way that he was in town today?
That I have nothing. I'm terrified to bring my children home.
What are you terrified of?
If it wasn't him, though, was it?
If you were watching these facts unfold in front of you in a movie, what would you say happened?
There has to be someone else.
How was his performance, I guess, when he first came to the scene or found out that the wife is killed?
When he is in front of the house, that's the moment where I would say we can't really judge grief. I actually had like a whole thing about this while I was watching the footage because I was comparing and I was like, okay, I don't know who would have a harder time because he is much more distraught than Christelle's mother. And I was thinking, okay, does that make sense for the spouse to be? I guess it would. And I was having all these different thoughts in my head. I would say when he gets to the house, he's on his knees. He does keep saying things like, I should have protected her. I was supposed to protect her.
I was supposed to protect her.
I think at that point, it's kind of believable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how you would behave, but I think that's like when the applicable term of, well, everyone responds to grief and shock differently would apply.
I see. So you're saying that it looked like in hindsight, it was
believable.
very theatrical, right? Very in hindsight.
Because then I was also trying to think, right? I think I am probably the most theatrical person that I know in terms of like, I am dramatic with my words and I like, and I laugh loudly and things. But I think when shit comes down, I would be very alert of like, okay, let me process this. I would jump into action. So I thought it was weird that he was so on his knees and saying I should have protected, when it seems like the rest of the family are like, okay, what are we going to do? We got to figure things out. The kids, we got to worry about the kids. It's not just us. Like, obviously there's grief, but there's also 3 kids that we have to take care of, figure out their safety. Like,
So
there's a
in
lot.
contrast, you're saying that he is more in that, like, oh my God, versus other people kind of had their shit together.
Yeah, I think like in that moment, I would probably have my together and then fall apart later. Because it's like, okay, especially when you factor in the 3 kids.
Yeah. But in hindsight, though, now we know this is his choice of performance.
Yes.
Like, he thinks this is the most believable reaction to give. But it looked very off when he arrived at the station, just instantly became really off.
Yeah, I think, okay, now in hindsight, obviously everything is clear in hindsight. I also think like the constant, I was supposed to protect her, I didn't protect her is really weird at the scene when he gets to the house. Because it's not about his kids, it's not about safety, and it's also not about like, we gotta find the who did this. Like, there is no action. It's like very him-centric. It's like, I'm the protector and I failed. I'm the biggest victim. Ooh, the guilt.
Yeah.
It's almost like he wants people to be like, you did everything you could.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a blonde woman next to him who's comforting him more than Christiel's mother. And she is the victim advocate that was called to the scene. Her name is Heather. She's interviewed later. And she says, at that moment, it was fine. It's actually when she gets in the car with him, driving him to the police station for the interview, she thought it was weird.
Really? What happened?
Yeah, she said that he was like slumped over in the passenger seat, like in a fetal position. Again, kind of weird. Again, maybe it's just me being like, couldn't be me, but it's just weird. She said most people ask questions.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you know? What happened? Like, they're like a mess, but they're still trying to gather information. And maybe it's all over the place because they're a mess, but it's not just like, I'm so sad I couldn't protect her. It's like, what happened? Tell me what happened, right?
Yeah.
There's none of that. He's not asking questions. And then she just feels so weird about it. She said she has this gut feeling where at one point she was like, did you do something?
Really?
And then she is like, oh my God, I'm such a shitty person. She's like, what's wrong with me? Like, this is a man who just lost his wife and I'm over here, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm watching too much Dateline. Like, what's wrong with me? And she's like, okay, I gotta get it together.
Wow.
Like, this is not okay.
I see.
But she just had this like weird gut feeling where just like some things are off.
And she probably been doing this, right?
Yeah.
Meeting a lot of victims and
Yeah. And he keeps trying to seem like really confused all the time. Like, even when the cop is like, oh, can we see your phone to see the house cameras? It's like lots of like, oh, where did I put my, oh yeah, here's my phone. Okay, let me try to unlock it. Like, it's just like this really performative, trying to seem harmless. Also, I thought it was weird that at the crime scene, he never asks about the kids. I'm not a parent, but I think my first reaction, like, God forbid anything happened, if there are children involved in anything, I'd be like, where are they? Are they fine? Like, who's going to get them? Like, we got to figure out something. But he's the dad, and he's not even like, are the kids okay? Like, where are the kids? Are they safe? How do we know they're safe?
Yeah.
He doesn't appear emotional during the interview. He just looks slumped over as time progresses. And the officers are like, help me make sense of this.
I know I'm not the one who does this. I get the narrative you're putting together, but it alleges that I would do this to my children.
I don't think it's Chat GPT. I think he legit. I think he legit him think he's a Quentin Tarantino, and he can best perform his masterpiece in a way that makes him the star, hero, and victim all at once. Ooh, child.
There's, like I said, footage of him telling his children what happened. So all 3 of them are brought into the police station. They're pulled out of school. And he is asked, do you want to tell your kids or do you want us to tell your kids? And he's like, I got to tell my kids. So he sits down with them, he tells them, and they are like incredibly, there's not exactly a word that I would use to describe it. I think distraught would be a very simple word, but I just don't really know. I mean, one of them seems like she's in high school. The other two seem pretty young. And
what did he say? He just say that you're...
Again, very theatrical. Like, she's gone. She's not coming back. And there are like some speculations I saw in some comments of some of these videos circulating where some people think that maybe the eldest, because the whole thing is blurred, but you can still kind of see bodies. Maybe the eldest had an inkling because they seem the most standoffish from the dad, but he's just like comforting them, and it's just...
And they're just like, what, scream crying?
Yeah.
And how is he comforting them? Just patting them?
Yeah.
I mean...
Wow.
I love all of you.
Like, I wouldn't even want to bring this up or even talk about it, but I think the whole point is the fact that he would do that to his own kids.
Yeah.
It's like less about, oh, look at the kid's reaction. It's more so like, look, hear the things that he's saying to his kids after he did it.
After he said,
that's so
find the man who took away a mother from her children.
Sick. Now you think about that. He chose to give that information to the kids.
Yeah.
If he really cared, obviously he wouldn't commit a crime, but then also he probably would not have the guts to even see that.
Yeah. But he doesn't. And the police are saying, like, I think ultimately you thought this would bring you closer to your kids in your mind because now you're all the kids have. The officer tells Daniel exactly what they think happened. They think that Anthony has reached out in the past to Christelle, and maybe Daniel has gotten jealous, even though she has told him multiple times that she's married, and he backs off. And this was, you know, back in 2016 was probably the last time that he reached out. He did ask if she wanted to have intimate relations. So maybe you had a question about infidelity, whether it's with Anthony or anybody else. Because why would Anthony randomly ask about having intimate relations if they hadn't had intimate relations? Like, they're trying to be on Daniel's side. And so, you know, you might create an account to see if Christelle's actually interested in Anthony. So you ask, you push, she doesn't respond. And then you're just trying to confirm your suspicions of infidelity. You don't get the response and the openness that you once did. And you think that, well, maybe if I keep doing this, she's going to come closer to me because she's so scared and she has nobody else. So you amp it up a little bit. And then you even send a photo of yourself in the account that you created. Daniel is asked again, like, if you were watching these unfold, what would you say happened if this were a movie? There has to be some unknown.
I'm analytical at work, and I read and write fiction at home. I don't do crime drama. I don't know what any of this.
He writes fiction? He's a writer?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Huh.
But for a month, Christelle doesn't tell Daniel what's happening, so he amps it up by sending that photo of himself. And that's when Christelle tells Daniel about the stalking that's been happening. And he keeps amping it up. Christelle is still over it. She's like, I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. I want to get a divorce. And the police wrote in their report, there's like a 700-page report that we come through, but Christelle told somebody in the family that she has a photo of bruising on one of the kids that she is going to use against Daniel in a custody case.
Oh, wow.
And then she also told a friend that she confronted Daniel because she was starting to feel as if Daniel was the stalker. So the police believe that not only does she have some sort of evidence against him in the custody case, she's about to out him to everyone publicly, to their family members, maybe even to the police, that he is the stalker.
I feel like she probably didn't think he would go that far. If she knew, I bet she didn't think like he was capable of this. Just like the brother-in-law. The brother-in-law was like, you wouldn't, I mean, there's no way. Like, have you seen him? Like, that's not, you wouldn't do that. I feel like she probably also was on the mind like, look, ultimately, I'm his wife and the mother of his children. He might be crazy, but obviously he's not going to kill me over it.
Going to lose everything. And so he kills her. The forensic evidence from the top. The Krug house has 4 cameras on the outside of the house. Doorbell camera, one on the side of the house, one that shows the driveway and the garage. And it's crazy, like this FOIA request, we got all of the footage from that. And we also got footage from like neighbors' cameras. There's a lot of footage. But multiple of the cameras were turned off for 2 hours that morning. And the only people that could turn it off manually are Daniel and Christelle. It's only turned back on when Daniel goes to work and he is later than normal, his work time. And he also seems really casual walking through his office, which is unsettling after he just murdered his wife. He then comes back to the house in extreme distress. But when he calls that welfare check, he calls the police. He calls Christelle's mom. He calls the neighbor.
He's the one that called?
Yeah, and he's also the one that called Christelle's mom to go check up on Christelle.
For what reason?
Maybe it's the ultimate revenge because it seems like he has this venomous hatred towards Christelle's family.
Right.
Wow.
But what made him decide to call a wellness call, like just out of nowhere in the morning?
So he said that he hasn't been able to get in contact with his wife, and it's weird because they had a stalker. So if they could just go check. He's at work right now. He left work earlier this morning. She was dropping off the kids.
He called the neighbor, the mom, and the police.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's probably nothing, but like just in case.
Can I get either someone in the house to check in with Martinez, or maybe both, maybe a wellness check at the house?
Yeah, we can go check the house.
She texted me like, I don't know, 3-ish hours ago.
All right, and then you said this was is this like a case for somebody threatening you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Martinez knows all of this. We have both been targeted by a stalker.
Okay.
Threats have been made against my life.
Okay.
And threatening to like kidnap her, which is why I'm nervous that she's not answering me.
I like how he start with threats has been made against my life. I don't know. There's something about that. It's like, why are you centering yourself? You're at work, safe. I'm sorry. That maybe I'm nitpicky, but there's something about that would like maybe not. I don't know. The point is that's weird.
Hear from her before then, or something changes. Just give us a call back, okay?
I can't focus here at the office. I'm going to be wrapping up as fast as possible and heading home.
Okay.
It takes me 45 minutes.
Okay.
So
all right. Sounds good.
I'm a ways out.
Okay. We'll let them know, and we'll have an officer call you, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know. For someone who's planning doing this for so long, there's also very dumb.
Yeah.
Like everything he does is like.
There were also messages from Christelle's phone that morning that she was killed. One of them was to Daniel that was sent after she was killed. Oh. Right, which, how is that possible? He's out of the house. He gets a text message when he's at work from Christelle. Those are all scheduled. There was one scheduled to be sent out to Detective Martinez, one to her dad. All of them pre-scheduled. You can schedule text messages on Christelle's phone, and someone had scheduled those messages. Who would it be if not Daniel? Because that needs to point to these messages were sent once he was out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
If the police didn't realize that these text messages were scheduled, they could have believed that Daniel was out of the house and Christelle was still alive inside the house. Then you factor in some really dumb stuff. The day before Christelle's murder, he's Googling how long, at least he spelled how correctly, but how long can you be unconscious without brain damage? How hard a hit for head trauma to go unconscious?
There is no way. Dude. Come on. The Google search? How many times have people gotten caught because of a stupid Google search? Like, I'm actually surprised that really. I'm sorry, but the Google search is taking me out. That's actually crazy. Is that? I'm gonna try it. This is actually crazy. The Google search is insane to me. Like, I'm not even gonna say, because whatever.
How hard would you have to hit someone in the head to make them unconscious? Do people really go unconscious when hit in the head? What happens when you're hit in the head? The picture of Daniel getting out of his car at work that the stalker took of him, data forensics were able to uncover that it was on selfie timer mode. I guess the metadata can show if it was like taken with the front camera, the back camera. It was like selfie mode, front camera on a timer.
Fucking cold.
Yeah, that was my question. So he put a little.
Yeah.
Right.
He bought a burner phone, but he buys it not with a credit card, but with a gift card. That gift card is registered to himself. When he first starts messaging Christelle, because she doesn't respond to that first message of like, hey, it's Anthony, right? He didn't know if the message was going through, so he decides to text himself from the burner phone and just the word test. He responds back, yeah. All the messages being sent, the emails being created, the emails being sent, they're all being sent from the IP address at Daniel's workplace, the Department of Public Health in Colorado. When authorities confront Daniel about it, he just says it doesn't make any sense. The Wi-Fi, we have public access and everybody knows the passwords.
The Gmail account that you guys initially received with the photo of you in it, and the phone number, those originated through their IP addresses at your office.
It doesn't make any sense. Well, he took the photo of me at my office.
Right.
Did he though?
But nobody believes him.
Yeah.
The trial takes place, and if you had any questions about how evil this guy is, even during the trial, the impact statements, this is when Christelle's family they're going to come up and tell the judge about how this has impacted their lives so that the judge can be more thorough with sentencing. Daniel is telling his parents on the phone that during sentencing, they should be able to give impact statements. So Daniel's family are allowed to give like character statements. They're not allowed to like give impact statements in that sense.
Right.
Because the people impacted by the crime are supposed to give impact statements.
Under the terms of the law, you are family members of the victim. You lost a daughter-in-law. My brothers lost a sister-in-law. You should all be allowed to speak if you choose.
Why does he want them to talk?
Probably to say nice things about him too. And also, it's just like such a slap in the face to Christelle's family. They lost a daughter and a sister. What do you mean you lost a daughter-in-law? You lost a sister-in-law. You should be able to talk.
Yeah. And what's the parents' reaction to that?
Oh, he continues though.
Joe said you might be allowed to speak on my behalf. Whether it's my behalf or Christelle's, I don't care. The point is, you deserve to be recognized as the victim's family. That has been denied to me since the day she died.
The mom looks hesitant and she says, do you want her family to even hear us?
Yes. You lost Christelle. Just like I did. The loss isn't theirs alone. So yes, I would like you to speak. If you're willing and able.
This is after he's found guilty.
Yeah. I just think everyone involved just fucking hates Daniel. Even the police officers. And again, this is not like me commending police officers. I think that they're doing their job. I think that's their job, right? There's nothing to praise there. But there are moments in the body cam, the arresting officers are searching through his car and one of them is reading through his journal briefly, just to quote, make sure, was he going to off himself or some shit? I gotta look. And he's like reading through the journal. And the other cop is like, is there a confession in there? No. And they're both disappointed.
Off himself or something. Is there a confession in there?
Also, before the arrest, it's like kind of comical in the only sense because we hate Daniel, but nothing else. And like, I guess the only thing that's like, okay, some relief is one of the cops is like, once he does the stop, because they're going to arrest Daniel in his car. They're like, once he does the stop, we're going to flip the bitch.
So yeah, once he does a stop, we're gonna flip a bitch. Yeah, I got it.
So they're like getting pumped to arrest Daniel. I don't know if they're just like...
They pulled him over like at a stop sign?
No, so he was going to his daughter's recital and they bombarded him in the parking lot when he was by himself, thankfully, not with the kids. So they got him. It's like every tone of all the police officers working this case, they just hate the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just so ready to... The jurors deliberated for a day and a half. They concluded that Daniel would be found guilty of murder in the first degree, stalking and extreme emotional distress, stalking with credible threat, and criminal impersonation. He will be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The whole time during the conviction, and the sentencing, Anthony was there, the guy that he tried to frame.
Wow.
Wow.
Detective Martinez states that this case has haunted me since it occurred, and the outcome of the case has haunted me for the past 2 years.
Really?
Christile's parents have given some grace, stating that it's not really Detective Martinez's fault. They think inevitably, I think he was going to kill her. When someone sets their mind to do something like that, and that's what the plan was, I don't think that would have stopped the murder from happening. Anthony also, he was interviewed and he said that the morning that he went to go buy that sweatshirt from Kohl's, he now thinks that it was Christile sending him a message.
Why? Oh,
Because it was just so random. Like, he didn't really need a sweatshirt. It was just kind of like he just felt the urge to go buy a sweatshirt.
Alibi?
Yeah.
The receipt for that would be his
Damn.
ultimate alibi.
Yeah.
And so with that is the case of Christile Krug. I saw a lot of people saying this was like the smartest, most calculated murder in history.
No.
I think there was just a lot of effort put in, but
There
it
was a lot of
wasn't. I
effort.
think Daniel would get off on being called smart and calculated.
No.
I think he's a bozo. I think he sucks it out.
No, the dumbass texted himself test with one of the phone that was used to stalk his wife. The dumbass did a Google search and he didn't even try to hide it. Those are proof that he was a moron. In this day and age, on Beyonce's internet, you're gonna be acting a fucking fool. Not even like realizing that everything that you do online leaves a trace. Like, what are we doing? Smart as nah. He's a moron. He's a dumbass. I'm glad he got caught.
Acting, and I think ultimately he deserves everything that's going to come to him in prison.
And during all of those calls, he just the whole time he's saying he didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. And he's mad that he thinks someone is taking his valuable coins. He thinks the police stole a ring, the credit card information. What are your thoughts on this case? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.
I just feel bad for the woman who died. Like, and the children and the family. I feel bad for like all the people who were impacted by this man's foolishness. All right, let's see. The text message gave the same energy of that mom who. That's literally what I fucking said. That's what I said. The fact that he made Christile's mother to go to the house for her to see her dad, it's the most evil thing in the world. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's some cartoonishly evil shit. Smart as no, smart wear bitch. It could have been better, but to call him the smartest is crazy. Crazy. The fact that Anthony came every day to the trial, what a good dude. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. Yeah, that's sad, especially considering the fact that they were trying. What I don't understand, honestly, the part that I don't understand is why it took so long. Oh wait, I think that they didn't want it to. If it really wasn't Anthony, they didn't want to scare him off, so that's why they didn't went to him before. But the thing is, in a lot of stalking case, the police is often too late, and that's why this sucks. Like, the police can only do something when a crime is committed. In my personal opinion, the law needs to be better because we have too many cases of women like basically dying because the cops can't do anything. Like, it's actually very annoying. Do you want me to tell your kids you killed their mother, or you want somebody else to? Yeah, no, that was actually kind of crazy. The way he talks with eclipse after every freaking word, and the way he whispers also. They don't want me to see my kids. Fine, I won't see my kids, but my cufflink, right? The priorities. I love that the ex-boyfriend showed up to court. The husband was probably stewing over that. Dude thinks he's a goddamn villain. What a deranged and pathetic guy. Yeah. His vibe is the same vibe as Erika Kirk. The whispering, the forced emotion, the absence of tears, the theatrics. That's crazy. Because I feel like he's better than Erika Kirk. That bitch looks crazy. Imagine thinking there is a stalker, then last thing you see is your husband killing you. Yo. That's actually tragic. He was also setting up an innocent person who lives 8 hours away. Yeah, exactly. I failed to protect her. Yeah, but you killed her. Yeah, the cops went the extra. I mean, the reason why the cops went the extra mile is because he was told that there's a stalker who could be violent. So I feel like that's probably why he went the extra mile, because they usually don't. They usually don't. Yeah, asking the police officer if he's married. The police officer say divorced, and he says right behind you after his wife was murdered. What? Yeah, that too. That too. Well, shit. Crazy. Well, I'm not gonna start a third one because I'm almost done. I could start a very, very, very short one on her other channel, though. I don't know if she has a short video, though. She usually doesn't, but hey, let's see. Anything that is like 40 minutes that I haven't seen. Damn it. I've seen everything. And also, she hasn't posted in her in Miss Mango Butt in ages. She let Miss Mango Butt go. The last post is fucking 1 years old. Oh man. I really miss Miss Mango Butt. But hey, I think that Rotten Mango is absolutely taking a lot of her time right now. So it is what it is. I think there's some videos that I still haven't seen though from Miss Mango but it's because I want to watch the show or the movie first. It is what it is. I am done with the stream. As usual, if you want to see... Oh, I'm guessing that must be a repost. Anyway, if you want to see the full look, you're gonna have to watch me later, as I always come back for gaming. I'm gonna be gaming to Watch Our Realm and then maybe other things later. But as far as this makeup stream is concerned, it's over. Like, while I'm not fully done, you can still get a good idea, you know? I think it's pretty good. I think it's looking quite... I'm pretty satisfied. It's a very dramatic look today. I'm very happy that I did the stream. I missed y'all, and I'll see you next time. Peace.